Smith Stadium in Sarasota, Florida, the home of the Orioles. Tonight it's the Red Sox and Orioles in Grapefruit League action. Hi again, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo, as always, joined by Jerry Remy. Welcome to Red Sox baseball. Well, tonight the Red Sox have Franklin Morales on the mound. He's vying for a spot in the rotation. He'll get an inning tonight.
Well, Franklin Morales last year was very valuable for the Boston Red Sox, both as a starting pitcher and a relief pitcher. Now, it looks like this year he's going to start the season out of the bullpen. Only be working one inning in the ball game tonight, and the fact that's going to give the Red Sox three lefties possibly out of the bullpen this season. So, when you look at the end of last year for Morales, his arm gets tired because he pitched so many innings in so many different roles. He rested, got himself back in very good shape in the offseason, and really is ready for any role the Red Sox want him in this year.
Tonight for the Orioles, it is Chris Tillman in his fifth season with the Baltimore Orioles, who tonight gets a start for the O's here in Sarasota. It is the Red Sox and Orioles. The Red Sox are limbering up as they get ready for more spring training baseball. We're back with the first pitch right after this. Red Sox Spring Training Baseball on NESN is presented to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Welcome to Ed Smith Stadium in Sarasota, Florida. The Red Sox and Orioles ready to go tonight. But before we get started, let's send it down to Jenny Dell.
Well, Don, we're lucky enough to be down here in Florida, but for fans at home, we want to stay connected with you. So we're going to go the Twitter route using the hashtag NESNST13. That's right, NESNST13. If you have a thought about the game, especially tonight, first base, Daniel Nava starting at first, making another appearance at first base. Mike Napoli going on Friday. We want to hear your thoughts. So using the NESN hashtag and then the hashtag Who's On First, please send us your thoughts and comments. And Jamie Erdahl, our other NESN reporter, is down here, and she'll follow up on talking to Daniel Nava later in the game.
Well, tonight the Red Sox have sent a very good contingent down here to Sarasota. Kind of odd for a road game, but we're certainly happy about it. A lot of good Red Sox players in the starting lineup tonight as you get the look at the new refurbished Ed Smith Stadium. When the Orioles took over here, Janet Marie Smith did such a fantastic job at putting this stadium together. Let's check out the Red Sox starting lineup. It's brought to you by your New England Chevy dealers. Leading it off for the Red Sox in center field, Jacoby Ellsbury with Dustin Pedroia at second base. Shane Victorino in right field bats third with Jared Saltalamacchia doing the catching. Will Middlebrooks is at third base with Stephen Drew at shortstop batting sixth. Johnny Gomes in left field seventh. Daniel Nava at first base. As Jenny mentioned, he bats eighth. Mark Hamilton is the DH tonight for the Red Sox. He bats ninth. So again, tonight, we hope you'll be part of our show. Tweet your comments during tonight's game to hashtag NESSIT13. And who's on first hashtag? As the Red Sox tonight have Daniel Nava there. Of course, Mike Napoli expected to be there on a more regular basis. And tonight we get the news from John Farrell that Mike Napoli, everything went well today, running the bases back at JetBlue Park today. And he will be ready to go on Friday, making his first start in a Red Sox uniform. So certainly everybody looking forward to that as we get ready tonight playing night baseball in Sarasota. As Jacoby Ellsbury stands in to face Chris Tillman. Tillman, who had a very good season last year, ready with his first pitch of the ball game, and a swing and a miss by Jacoby Ellsbury. 9-3. A year ago was Tillman, as he made a total of 15 starts, a 2.93 earned run average. So the walk to strikeout ratio and opponent's batting average just a 207. This marks his 5th year with the Orioles, and a fast start for him, ahead 0-2.
Well, the Orioles obviously the big surprise last year in the American League East and going to the playoffs. And the back end of their bullpen was absolutely outstanding.
What a job by Buck Showalter and Dan Duquette, the general manager, to put that team together. And really, Jerry, it seemed that what they had hoped from their young guys finally came to fruition last year. Matt Wieters, Adam Jones, guys they've been waiting on, finally had some of their best seasons, and it all came together for the O's. There's strike 3 to Ellsbury. And he strikes out to begin the game.
Let's take a look at the Baltimore Oriole defense tonight. Wilson Benemit's going to be at third base. J.J. Hardy, the shortstop. Brian Roberts at second, and Chris Davis, the first baseman. Left to right, Nate McLeod, Adam Jones, and Nick Markakis. And Matt Wieters doing the catching for Tillman.
One down in the first for Dustin Pedroia. Red Sox second baseman takes strike 1. Pedroia's been batting out of this 2 spot so far early in spring, and it appears that's where he will be earmarked once again, although John Farrell has not been committal, nor does he need to be in this stage of spring training. As to who's going to bat where in this year's Red Sox lineup, just hope to have everybody healthy by the end of it. And I think, if you ask John Farrell, that's the one concern that managers certainly have during the spring, is breaking camp with a healthy club. Just ask the Yankees about that. Curtis Granderson, of course, fracturing his arm, as Bill Welke down there at first base said that he went around.
And it's pretty clear by that replay, good look at it from the side, that Dustin did go around on that changeup.
Pedroia down the right field line, but hooking foul and down towards the O's pen.
What a difference in this ballpark. Of course, a long time ago, the White Sox used to train in this facility, and it was one of the lousiest facilities, really, in Florida. But they have really done a beautiful job making this place over.
Jana Marie Smith, who was certainly a very big part of the Red Sox series of renovations for a number of years. And she was the one that renovated this. This is down the line at first into right field for Pedroia. He will stop at first base as Markakis gathers and gets it back in. It's a one-out single for Dustin Pedroia.
Excellent job for Pedroia, staying back on the breaking ball. He gets the curveball here from Tillman, and you can see how he's able to stay back, keep the hands back, and shoot that right down the first base line. Good job by Markakis getting over there quickly and holding Pedroia to the single.
1 out, 1 on for Shane Victorino, as they hold Pedroia on at first base. Chris Davis over there for the O's. Victorino takes a strike over the outside corner. Wrapped up his Phillies career last year, spending time with Philadelphia and Los Angeles, combined to play in 154 games last year. You see the numbers for the Hawaiian native, who will be heading off to the WBC very shortly, representing the United States. And of course, spring training longer this year with the World Baseball Classic going on. This one fouled to the screen. Jerry, the timing of the WBC we've talked about before, but which you think it's tougher on timing-wise, the hitter or the pitcher at this stage?
Oh, certainly the hitter at this stage of spring training. You know, most of their work comes in batting practice. It's all fastballs, mediocre fastballs that they're seeing. Work in the batting cages, usually flips, or the pitching machine. So I think the pitchers early in spring training have always had the advantage. Of course, they're trying to build up their arm strength, too.
This is popped up foul off to the left. 0-2 here to Shane Victorino. Waiting on deck, Jared Saltalamacchia batting out of the cleanup spot for the Red Sox tonight. Red Sox so far 2-3 in spring training. The Orioles are a perfect 3-0 so far as they play on their fourth game. That one is up and away.
Now, Tillman's the kind of guy that you can get a pretty good jump at first base on because he's a big guy. Tall. It takes him a long time to get rid of the baseball. But the fact is, to make up the difference is Matt Wieters behind the plate. Very good throwing arm.
Well, 6'5" of Matt Wieters. Again, last year, another very good year for the All-Star catcher. 1-2 is on the ground towards second. Could be two. Roberts to second for one. On to first. It's not in time. Too much speed for Victorino. Able to beat it out on the back end. They do get Pedroia at second. 2 down.
Now, you mentioned, Don, a number of the Red Sox players going to the World Baseball Classic, and Victorino is certainly one of those guys. Alfredo Aceves, now this is interesting. He thought all along that he was going, and then all of a sudden he was not going, and today he finds out he was on the roster for Mexico, so he'll be going. Villarreal to Mexico, Bogarts to the Netherlands. Of course, Bogarts from Aruba playing for the Netherlands, and Jose de la Torre going to Puerto Rico.
2 down here in the first. Victorino at first base and Saltalamacchia the batter. You know, John Farrell said before the game that he had to tell Alfredo Aceves that he was not going, and then found out 2 days later that he is going.
I bet that went over big when he told him he wasn't going.
I'm sure Alfredo was pleased.
Yes.
Well, look at Jared's numbers. 25 home runs a year ago for the Red Sox backstop. Good size lead at first for Victorino. And a snap throw to first. Better get back, and he does just get back. Wieters not afraid to throw it around.
Wieters likes to throw behind, of course. Most catchers do behind left-handed hitters, and that time Wieters popping up and throwing behind Saltalamacchia, but the Victorino not that far from the bag.
So 2 down, Victorino at first, and here's a 2-0 pitch to Saltalamacchia. Big swing and a miss. You know, last year, Tillman beginning the year AAA Norfolk, where he spent the first half of the year. Then was called up on July the 4th at Seattle and began what was a very good run for him, 9-3 a year ago with the 2.93 earned run average. That's on the corner, and it's 2-2. Tillman part of a very good O's pitching staff last year, and that was a large part of their turnaround. And really what was an amazing season that no one saw coming for the Baltimore Orioles a year ago. And the question is, I guess, can they sustain that this year? And the division is even better this year than it was last year, but a lot of their guys are back. A lot of the same faces that had the tremendous run for Buck Showalter right back in those uniforms again this season.
And they've got that all-important confidence going, a little swagger that they didn't have for a long, long time.
Real culture change in the clubhouse, and long time in between playoff appearances for the O's. There's ball 4 to Saltalamacchia. 2 on for the Red Sox with 2 outs. And that'll give Will Middlebrooks a chance. And Middlebrooks sitting at .288 a year ago. Prior to the injury, 15 home runs, 54 runs batted in. With a fractured wrist, and has come into camp in tremendous shape again this year. And a little different for him this year. Last year he pretty much knew he was headed to AAA to begin the season, and that swing he's grabbing the wrist.
Yeah, that he got about halfway through that swing, and something gave in that right hand or wrist, and immediately dropped the bat. And that is not a good sign.
And he is coming right out of this game.
You'll see here as he starts to swing, and it's almost like he wants to hold up, but as he starts to swing, immediately something went wrong with that hand, and it was very clear right out of the chute that he's got a problem.
So his season came to an end last year, and right now clutching that right side as he left, and right away not chancing anything. We talked about injuries in spring training, Jerry, and this is certainly a concern for every ball club.
Yeah, it certainly is. And, the Red Sox, along with other clubs, have certainly had their share of them over the last couple of years. And that's something they don't need.
Looks like Pedro Siriaco is going to be coming out here to bat the remainder of this at bat for Will Middlebrooks, and likely will take over for him at third base as well. Siriaco was a nice story last year, a chance to play all over and really become a very versatile player.
Talking to John Farrell yesterday during batting practice up at the ballpark in Fort Myers, and he was asking me about Siriaco about a year ago, and I said, this kid turned into a heck of a player, can do a lot of things, can run, can play a lot of different positions, and Farrell really likes him. He likes what he saw last year against him, and he likes what he's seen so far this spring from him. So Siriaco, look for him to be part of this Red Sox ball club, probably in a backup role.
Well, he's one of the bright spots of 2012 for the Red Sox as Siriaco makes his way to the plate. 2 outs, 2 on, and the Red Sox threatening here in the first. So 2 down, 2 on, and Siriaco takes the 0-1 down low.
I think one of the issues Pedro had last year was swinging at bad pitches, and once they got around the league a little bit, they started to throw him a lot of breaking balls off the plate that he would chase, and that's one thing he'd like to improve on this spring training.
1-1 sent foul off to the right, out of play. So Middlebrooks, who fractured his left wrist last year, appears to be the right wrist this time. But we will wait to get official word from the Red Sox tonight as to the actual injury. It comes on a swing here tonight, and that is absolutely the last thing the Red Sox want to have happen.
It did not look good.
No. And his reaction even more so as he came off and fired the helmet into the dugout. Out of frustration. Here's on the ground to Roberts at second base. That'll wrap up the inning, which could be a costly one for the Red Sox. Here is the concern, the swing from Will Middlebrooks. The Orioles are coming up. No score as we get ready for the bottom of the first inning. We mentioned Jamie Erdahl is with us. Jamie, what is the latest on Will Middlebrooks?
Well, obviously everybody saw he slammed that helmet back into the dugout when he injured a wrist. We don't know which wrist it is, but I was able to speak with him before the game. He fortunately was able to work with former Red Sox third baseman Mike Lowell yesterday, just working on that position, trying to figure out different kind of footing to deal with balls. We don't have an update yet. Jenny and I are working on which wrist it is and what kind of damage we can see from Middlebrooks' wrist.
All right, Jamie, thank you very much. As the Red Sox are in the field here for the bottom of the first inning, the Orioles are coming up, and on the mound tonight for the Red Sox is Franklin Morales, left-hander. Last year, 9 starts, was 3-4. He made 37 total appearances, but 9 of them were starts, primarily out of the pen last year, and 3.77 earned run average, 76 strikeouts at 30 walks, and opponents hitting at just 224 against him.
Let's take a look at the Red Sox defense tonight. Of course, Pedro Ciriaco booming in for Middlebrooks at third base. Stephen Drew, the shortstop. Dustin Pedroia at second. Daniel Nava, the first baseman. Left to right, Johnny Gomes, Jacoby Ellsbury, and Shane Victorino. And Jared Saltalamacchia doing the catching for Morales.
Well, Nolan Reimold leading it off here for the Orioles. The designated hitter tonight for the O's. A season shortened for him last year. Played just 16 games. But a .313 average, 5 home runs, 10 RBIs in those 16 games. Reimold lays off on a pitch down and in, and the count evens at 1-1.
Not often you see the DH in the leadoff spot in the lineup. Tonight, Reimold, the DH in this game, leading off.
Reimold last year, beginning of the year, AAA Norfolk, was called up for the first time on May 20th. Been up and down to AAA Norfolk over the last couple of years. And a swing and a miss, and it's 2-2.
Nice slide of burying Reimold down and in that time by Morales. Getting on top of the ball and breaking it down around the ankles of the right-handed hitter.
To third, where Ciriaco picks it on a hop, spins and fires low, but it's dug out by Nava. Nice job by Daniel Nava, learning first base here during the spring, and had to make a nice pick there on the throw from Ciriaco.
Yeah, I got 2 nice plays on this. First, Ciriaco, you see how low he starts. He's low to the ground. And then the pick at first base by a guy learning first base, Daniel Nava. Because most of the time we see Nava, it's in the outfield, but getting work this spring and first base, and he made that one look easy.
I was talking to Daniel Nava in the clubhouse the other day about his transition to first base, and he's been trying to pick the ear a little bit of some of the other guys that have done it in the past. He was talking about Darren Erstad and some of the outfielders who have come into first base and what they've got to go through, and he said this is much tougher than I thought it would be. I think a lot of people think that, first base is not that difficult, but it is from a footwork standpoint, where to be on what plays, and he said that the footwork has been the toughest thing so far for him. And remember Kevin Youkilis talking about that as well when he went from third to first base. Not as easy as it looks.
Now, no matter what position, Don, you change in the field, whether it be another outfield spot or another infield spot, or especially coming in from the outfield to the infield, it's always difficult. I don't care what anybody says. Just because you can play one, that doesn't mean you can play them all.
Well, Jamie, it is certainly a tough transition.
Daniel Nava, just about what you guys were talking about before the game, and he said usually he arrives down in Florida for spring training early anyways, but this year in particular, John Farrell called him and asked him to come down to the fort 2 weeks early to specifically work on first base. He enlisted the help of Lyle Overbay and third base coach Brian Butterfield to help him with the different footing and fielding skills, as Jerry was just saying. But really, Daniel said the hardest part for him was breaking in that first baseman's glove. He said he hasn't had that hard of a time breaking in a glove since he played in Little League.
Well, it takes a little while, doesn't it, Jeremy? You had your regular, I know. This one is chopped out to first base. Nava, nice play. A little bobble, but he'll stay with it and tag the bag. Generally, how long would it take you to... We're going to check out the lineup as it's time now to take a look at tonight's Orioles batting order, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. The O's have Nolan Reimold leading it off with Brian Roberts just grounded out. Nick Markakis in right field. Adam Jones in center. Matt Wieters does the catching. Chris Davis at first. J.J. Hardy at short. Nate McLouth in left field bats eighth. And Wilson Bedeman at third base bats ninth. How long would it take you to break in a glove?
Well, I told you before, Don, I really only used 2 my whole career. And I had a lot of backups, obviously, that you'd have to break in. But it takes a long time to get it to your liking. The gloves today come softer than they did in years past, obviously. And so they're a little bit easier to break in to your liking.
Driven to center field. Ellsbury tracking it back shy of the track to make the running catch on Markakis. The wraps up the first. The O's go in order. We're done with 1. No score tonight from Sarasota. On Nesson is brought to you by New Cape Flyer. Summer weekend train service from Boston to Hyannis. Getting to the Cape has never been so easy. For information, go to capeflyer.com or call 508-775-8504. And the beautifully refurbished Ed Smith Stadium. Renovated before last year's spring training for the O's, and they had a terrific year. Happy to be back here in Sarasota again for their second spring training after a number of years in Fort Lauderdale, where the Yankees have been for a long time. But this is drastically better than Fort Lauderdale, where they had been. And the O's and Chris Tillman back on the mound here for the second inning. Stephen Drew leading it off for Boston. Shortstop had 7 home runs last year between Arizona and Oakland as he battled back from injuries to both ankles. Finished up the year with the Oakland A's in the postseason. Lost in 5 games to the Detroit Tigers. Johnny Gomes also on that A's team a year ago. Really the surprises, I think, in the American League last year, the Oakland A's and the Baltimore Orioles both ending up in the postseason.
Yeah, 2 biggest surprises in baseball.
There is his former teammates again. Swing and a miss.
Back-to-back changeups featured by Tillman. The first one was too low. That time he had Drew out in front with the swing.
Well, Stephen Drew opting to wear the number that his brother J.D. wore in the past, number 7. Prior to that, John Nixon had worn the number 7 for a number of years. Popped up, foul off to the left, out of play. Hangs it 2-2. Stephen Drew does have power. I mentioned the 7 home runs a year ago. Inside, didn't miss by a lot. Tillman wanted it. It's a full count.
I try to think of my memories of Ed Smith Stadium, Don, and the ones I have are when Michael Jordan decided to play baseball.
Yeah, with the White Sox.
And right in those backfields, Jordan would be over there playing, and Plenty of media attention.
To center, Adam Jones coming in. Almost lost it in the lights, but he makes the catch out there for the first out of the second inning. A sinking liner, but Jones is there.
Yeah, Jones, the kind of guy that can play a shallow center field because he has great confidence going back on the ball. And that time, line drive by Drew looked like it might drop in, but right there is Jones to make the catch down around knee high.
So one down here in the second inning. Here's 32-year-old Johnny Gomes. Left fielder for the Red Sox last year at 18 homers, 47 runs driven in, and a .262 average. Big swing and a miss. Gomes, who has 7 years of Major League experience. See his numbers in 99 games last year with the A's. Year before that, split it between Cincinnati and Washington. Came up in the Tampa Bay Rays organization and really saw the transformation of that organization, much like the Orioles, going from a series of losing years to a winning season in 2008. He was right in the middle of it for Joe Maddon's Rays. This one sent foul off to the right. When you look back to that season, a lot of the Rays point to some team camaraderie that really got that team together, and it actually started in spring training, where they had a fight with the Yankees during the spring, and then another fight later on in that season with the Red Sox. James Shields was involved with Coco Crisp, you might remember, and Gomes was in the middle of that pile on the other side for the Rays.
Yeah, that had been brewing for a couple of days, and all of a sudden they threw at Coco, and he goes out to the mound. And remember Johnny Gomes with a pretty good right hand. And
the one shot at him over the top where he was throwing the haymaker on his knees. And his teammates love him. To a man last year, the Oakland A's, even though he had only one at bat in the postseason in the ALDS, they said he was their team leader. Of course, he was from Petaluma, California. He did a great thing last year, too. He sent the Petaluma Little Leaguers to the World Series. They really did not have enough money to do that as a group, and they weren't going to go, and he ended up footing the bill for that team to go. It was his hometown, and he did, and they brought those Little Leaguers back to the Coliseum to be introduced before a game, and he really was great in the community out there. And Red Sox glad to have him this year. There's a little pop-up as Tillman is there to make the catch, 2 down. Well, have you gotten your daily fix today? Well, Nesson has you covered following the game with Nesson Daily. Adam Peller and Leah Hextall will get you caught up on everything you need to know about your favorite New England sports, including complete recap of tonight's Sox-Orioles action. Jamison Coyle reports from Bruins practice, and Tom Brady talks about his new contract extension. All that and more on Nesson Daily tonight.
Yeah, they'll also have the latest on Will Middlebrooks' situation as we get into the night.
Pitch outside to Daniel Nava. Tillman wants a new baseball and gets one. Tillman has retired the last 3 Red Sox in a row, first 2 of this second inning. Well, Nava doesn't care where he makes this team, he just wants to make this team. And certainly open to the idea of playing at first base as he has so far during the spring. See his numbers in 88 games a year ago. Yeah, so chop this one foul outside of first. With many injuries to the Red Sox, he has found his way to the major leagues. 2010 and then in 2012, last year, Jerry, he wasn't even in the major league side of the media guide and found himself into 88 games last year due to injury.
You know what? A lot of guys last year found themselves into the Red Sox lineup as the year went on that nobody expected to be because of all the injuries they had. But you're right about Nava, and all of a sudden Nava becomes, a very attractive player for the Red Sox at different positions.
Nava takes the walk. Good at bat as he heads down to first base. Second walk given up by Tillman, and here comes Buck Showalter to make the change. So Tillman trying to get through the second inning. But Showalter going to make a change here. He's had action in the pen, and starters these days going about an inning, perhaps an inning plus, early in spring training as Tillman leaves after an inning and 2/3.
Now let's take a look right now at the next 5 spring training games we have here on Nesson.
On March 1st, the Pittsburgh Pirates. And that's going to be from Fort Myers, 7:05 start. The Yankees on the 3rd, a 1:35 start. That's Sunday. On March the 8th, the Minnesota Twins come to town. Well, actually, they already are in town. They're just going to come a little bit south. Yeah, south. And then the Baltimore Orioles, of course, come in on the 9th. And on the 10th, we go to Tampa Bay for a game at 1:05 against the Rays. So those are the next 5 games coming up on Nesson.
The pitching change here for the O's. Daniel Schlereth comes into the game. Schlereth, a left-hander. 11 games in the minors last year. No record with a 2.79 earned run average. Walked as many as he struck out. And Schlereth last year made the Tigers opening day roster. Did appear in some games last year for the Tigers. Parts of 3 seasons with Detroit. Last year, 6 games, had a 10.29 ERA with Detroit. Came up in the Arizona Diamondbacks organization and broke in with the Diamondbacks in 2009. And he comes in here to relieve Chris Tillman, who went an inning and 2/3, giving up a hit. He walked 2 and struck out a batter and is responsible for Daniel Nava at first base.
Well, certainly plenty of action in this game so far, and the action has not been good for the Red Sox. Will Middlebrooks having to leave the ball game, taking a swing at an inside fastball, and it looks like it is his right hand or wrist that he hurt on that swing. And immediately leaving the game and not happy about it.
We'll find out as soon as we can and pass along what the word is from the Red Sox as to his status at the moment. But certainly did not look good as you saw him go off. So it'll be Mark Hamilton coming up here for the Red Sox. Hamilton getting the start out of the number 9 spot as the DH in tonight's game. He was born in Baltimore, Maryland, as he takes on the O's tonight. 90 games last year at AAA, hitting at .213 for him, spending the year at AAA Memphis. His major league experience with the Cardinals, 9 games in 2010. Played in 38 games with St. Louis in 2011. This one fouled to the screen. And it's 0-1 to Hamilton. And Schlereth takes over here with 2 outs and Nava at first base. This will skip in. Nice block by Wieters. No advance for Nava.
Yeah, Wieters, a guy, as we mentioned, very big behind home plate, kind of like Carlton Fisk, size-wise, and moves around pretty darn good. You can see him sliding right over there, not trying to catch the ball, but block it, and leaves Nava at first base and keeps him out of scoring position.
One pitch is on the outside corner, and it's 1-2 to Hamilton. Nava with a short lead at first, held on by Davis. Straightens him up and evens at 2-2. Middlebrooks, who had the fractured right wrist last year. I think earlier we may have said it was his left wrist. It was indeed his right wrist last year, so that backhand, so very well could have re-injured that again tonight. This one is fouled off to the left, and that would make sense because it was just a simple swing.
Yes.
Really, more than anything else. And
it looked to me, Don, like it was a fastball inside that he wanted to stop his swing on. And he just continued through, and immediately you could see the pain on his face.
This will skip by Wieters this time. Nava doesn't see it, and now he takes off. Still has time to get to second base, but he could not see it at all. He had the hands in the air.
He had no clue where that ball was. And, he had the hitter there, he had the catcher there, he had the umpire there, and by the time he picks it up, he still has time to go. But you can see right there, even Wieters had no idea where the ball was. There's Nava. He can't see it. Where's the baseball? All right, now I see it. Now I can go to second base.
So 2 down. Nava now in scoring position, and Mark Hamilton waiting on a 3-2 pitch with first base now open. And he'll chop it in that direction. Foul. Now Tillman started this inning, got Drew to line out to center. Gomes popped out. Nava reaching on a walk, and now is at second base after a wild pitch was charged to Schlereth. Broken bat, grounder up the middle. It is picked by J.J. Hardy. And the throw to first is in time. That ends the inning. We're through an inning and a half tonight from Ed Smith Stadium in Sarasota. No score. Scoreless as we head to the bottom of the second inning. We were hoping the Twitter world would join us tonight, and they have indeed with more. Here's Jenny.
Yes, they have, Don. And Brian Thone has tweeted us, and he says he likes the idea of giving Nava reps at first because his versatility could save us roster space for another player. Brian, thank you for your thoughts and using the hashtag NESSONST13 and who's on first. Well, actually, Brian, John Farrell agrees, and he said he is looking for that versatility from Nava. I spoke to him earlier, and he said he's been very impressed with Nava at first base, and he's done very well so far.
Well, tonight he's had a nice night. Offensively, a couple of good picks down there at first base.
That was a very thoughtful tweet. It was.
Yeah.
It made sense for the team. The whole thing, it made sense.
Well thought out.
Yes. I like the word reps. Get more reps over there at first base.
This also gives you a chance for more characters. You can say more. Shorten stuff up. Adam Jones leads it off here in the bottom of the second inning for the Orioles. Matt Wieters and Chris Davis will be along here in the bottom of the second inning. That's strike one from the new Red Sox pitcher, their closer Joel Hanrahan, into the game here in the second inning. Hanrahan last year with the Pirates, 36 out of 40 in save opportunities. In the dirt this time. Always interesting to see how managers use their closer in spring training. Certainly cannot replicate the kind of adrenaline rush they would have during the regular season. It's tough to see. Sometimes Papelbon would start games. Other times they would have him come in and finish games in the ninth inning just to try to find something similar to the regular season. But John Farrell going with his second inning tonight. Siriaco's long throw is off the glove of Nava. And reaching at first base is Adam Jones.
Now there's a case right there for Nava where he has to leave his feet.
to make sure the ball does not get by him. Now, fortunately, the runner did not get into scoring position at second base. But you could see this ball sail on Suriaco very early. And he thought he had a chance to keep contact with the bag and make the catch, but that was not the case. But as soon as that ball left the hand of Suriaco, you could tell it was going to be high. Fortunately, the ball did not get that far from Navas, so the runner, Jones, remains at first base. They give the error to Suriaco.
Lead runner on for the Orioles here in the second inning, and here is Matt Wieters. Wieters, who hit a .249 last year, but good power numbers, 23 home runs and 83 runs driven in. There goes Jones, a swing and a miss, and the throw is going to tail into center field. On to third goes Jones. Now 90 feet away with nobody out here in the second inning. That throw took off on Saltalamacchia.
You know what happens a lot? You see the jump right there by Jones. You know, closers, for the most part, do not have good moves to first base and take a long time to go home. So, you know, a lot of times you see stolen base against closers, and especially if they're in at this stage of the game, which they're not normally in. And the Orioles taking advantage of that with the steal and the throw by Saltalamacchia going into center field.
Hanrahan, a big guy, 6'4", 250 pounds. He is 31 years of age and dealing with Matt Wieters here with a count of 1-1. Swing and a miss for Wieters.
One more look at the jump at first base. She's going to see an excellent jump right there by Adam Jones, and the rush throw by Saltalamacchia gets by both middle infielders, and he ends up on third base.
On the ground up the middle into center, a base hit. And from third, Jones will score the Orioles' first run of the night. Baltimore takes a 1-0 lead. An RBI single for Matt Wieters.
And Wieters got on top of a high fastball that time from Hanrahan. Much the location of this pitch. A ball that's going to be up, probably out of the strike zone. Not even a strike, but able to get the hands above the baseball and drive it up the middle for the base hit.
So runner at first, still nobody out here in the Orioles' second inning. And here is Chris Davis. Davis, the former Texas Ranger, who found a home last year with the Orioles, playing at first base. And he takes strike one. Also saw time in the outfield for the O's last year. 33 home runs a year ago, 85 runs batted in, a .270 average. Power's always been there for him, but had a lot of strikeouts in his past. But last year, a 33 home run season for Davis. Jerry, when you look back at the Orioles, what stands out for you most as far as the biggest change they made, perhaps, from years past when they struggled?
Bullpen.
Yeah.
You know, they had Johnson closing out games, Pedro Stroop. I mean, it was lights out when they had the lead going late into the game. And many a times we play the Baltimore Orioles, and they just blow games at the end, you know, and it just didn't happen last year. It was lights out. They had so many, one-run wins, extra inning wins, and that's because of a good bullpen.
Strope in the eighth, and then in the ninth, Johnson.
And a good point you made earlier, the fact that these guys have matured together. You know, guys like Wieters, Adam Jones, Markakis, they've all come together at about the same time.
And Buck Showalter doing a very good job in changing the culture of the clubhouse and what was expected of players, and winning was a possibility, and they were buying in all season long for the O's. The one is a foul tip, and it's 0-2. Most saves in a season for Hanrahan was 40 saves. He did that in 2011. That was with the Pirates. Had a nifty 1.83 earned run average that year, the year that he had 40 saves. And he closed the game out against the Red Sox when he visited Pittsburgh a couple years ago.
For those who have not seen him, he'll go with fastball, slider, occasionally a cut fastball.
Up and in, 2-2.
It's like an early bird special crowd tonight, isn't it? Very quiet.
Very quiet here in Sarasota. Low and away, full count. Good crowd on hand here tonight in Sarasota. See the Red Sox and the Orioles. Hardy takes ball 4, a close pitch, but down to first base. First walk given up by Hanrahan, and the first walk given up by Red Sox pitching, for that matter. Win a free week of youth sports camp at the world's premier training establishment, IMG Academy in Bradenton, Florida. Go to NESN.com/IMG for your chance to win. One down in the inning. Runners at first and second, and Nate McLouth coming up here for the O's. McLouth had a .268 batting average a year ago. 7 homers, 18 runs batted in for the former Pittsburgh Pirate. In there for strike 1. Franklin Morales working a 1-2-3 first inning tonight for the Red Sox. Faced Reinhold, Roberts, and Markakis. Retired them all as pitch in there for strike 2.
That's that slider we were talking about, and maybe his best pitch. And it's in particular against right-handed hitters. It's this time working against the lefty, but it is the slider. It is down in the zone, and it is away.
Looked like he went around. They check at third. He did, and they ring him up. Swing and a miss for Nate McLouth, who strikes out for the second out of the inning.
And the slider again. This time, last time he went away with it. This time he goes inside. See Salt Lamacchia hitting the ground. He wanted that ball down in the dirt. That's where he gets it, and he picks up the strikeout. That's the kind of thing that annoys hitters when you get that umpire kind of steps toward home plate and then gives you the out call.
The overzealous strike 3.
You want to walk up the third base line and go, you're nuts.
It's emphatic. It's, you're not just out, you're really out.
You're out.
Yeah. You didn't like that. You didn't like
no, I didn't like that. Just give me a little, one of these.
Yeah.
Don't take 2 steps up and, you're out. Get out of here, little man.
2 outs. Benjamin takes strike 1. Nelson Benjamin, third baseman tonight for the Orioles. .261, 12 homers, 40 runs batted in. Played in over 100 games last year for the O's. And up and away, and it's 1-1. Ground ball softly at right side to Pedroia. On to first to end the inning. But the Orioles able to grab a run. Top half of the third inning back at Ed Smith Stadium in Sarasota, Florida. Red Sox and Orioles playing into the third inning. And it'll be the top of the Red Sox order. Jacoby Ellsbury, Dustin Pedroia, and Shane Victorino expected to bat here tonight in this third inning. Back on the mound is Daniel Schlereth. He took over for the Orioles in the second inning. For the starter tonight, Chris Tillman. And he's back out there to start the third. He got the final out of the second. Orioles grab a run in the bottom of the first and enjoy a 1-0 lead. The Sox fans want to remind you to subscribe to MLB.TV Premium today and watch over 150 select live spring training games. Plus, every regular season game is live or on demand on over 250 mobile and connected devices. Visit RedSox.com for details. Now we head into the third inning, and it's Ellsbury to lead it off. He struck out swinging in the first inning. One strikeout so far tonight for Orioles pitching. There's strike one to Ellsbury. Lifts a fly ball to shallow center. Hardy out, Jones in. It's J.J. Hardy, the Orioles shortstop, who puts it away for the first out of the third inning.
Not that that was a difficult play by any means, but I've been very impressed the last couple of seasons with J.J. Hardy. You've heard me mention it many times, but he has been a very, very solid shortstop defensively for the Orioles.
Yeah, in an area where they really had a lot of different guys running through short.
They did. They had, it seemed like somebody new every single year, but he has solidified that position for the Baltimore Orioles.
Had a few years of Miguel Tejada, who was solid in shortstop for them, but lots of guys in between. Pedroia taking a swing at the first pitch, sending it down the right field line foul. Pedroia with a single to right field in his first at bat, the only Red Sox hit so far on the night. Both teams with one hit, but it's the Orioles on top 1-0. Down and in, and some fancy footwork to get out of the way of that for Pedroia.
That breaking ball kept chasing Pedroia down around the ankles and the feet. And he's able to do a little dance to get out of the way. Little moonwalk to get out of the way right there.
A little bit high for ball two. On deck for the Red Sox, Shane Victorino batting out of the 3 spot tonight and in right field for the Red Sox. 2-1 is on the ground. Hardy takes a tough hop about belt tie and fires to first, 2 down. Going to change direction on him on the way out to short.
Yeah, you'd rather have one like that kind of bounces up high, around chest high to you, the one that hugs the ground. And you'll see this one clearly bouncing up. And right in the sweet spot right there for J.J. Hardy.
2 down in the third inning for Shane Victorino. Victorino reached on a filler's choice in the first inning. Looking forward to watching him play this year, Jerry. Watched him certainly as a member of the Philadelphia Phillies from afar. Played a very good center field for the Phillies. And, of course, this year he'll be in right for the Red Sox.
And certainly getting used to right field, in particular at Fenway Park, is going to be a difficult task for Victorino.
He gets hit with a pitch in. So Schlereth hits him with 2 outs in the inning.
Nowhere to go. Fastball inside. Victorino tries to get the hands out of the way, but it looks like it picks him right on the elbow. Well,
Arnie Baylor, the new Red Sox first base coach down there with him. Arnie was the Manager of the Pawtucket Red Sox, Governor's Cup champion Pawtucket Red Sox a year ago for the Paw Sox. And Arnie on the coaching staff this year, an entirely different coaching staff this season under John Farrell. And Arnie very excited to be on this staff. So new first base coach for the Red Sox, and we talked about Brian Butterfield a lot, the Maine native who was a longtime Toronto Blue Jays bench coach and third base coach, and comes home to New England with the Red Sox this season under John Farrell.
You know, you look at a guy like Butterfield who's been around for such a long time,
yes,
and you wonder why certain guys never get a chance to manage.
I don't know why him especially.
He is a great baseball man. I mean, he really lives baseball and knows a lot about it.
And anytime you go, when we were going to Toronto, you see him out there early in the afternoon working, instructing with players, trying to get them adjusted to the infield or whatever position it may be. He works as hard as any coach in the big leagues. And I was talking to Ron Washington about him last year in the playoffs because I felt the same way about Ron Washington. We both saw him out there every day working with Nick Swisher and others trying to make him first baseman. And those two guys work extremely hard, and it's great to have Brian Butterfield on the Red Sox coaching staff this year, and that should pay instant dividends. And John Farrell wanted him badly on this staff. But I don't know why he hasn't been a manager yet, or his name has been mentioned on occasion, but really has not had that opportunity. Really should.
And there are a lot of guys in the game like that have been around for a long, long time. Sometimes they become so good at their position as their base coach that, you know, managers keep taking him with them. Well, for example, Farrell bringing him to Boston from Toronto.
(2-1) to Saltalamacchia, and that'll miss for ball 3. Walked in the first inning, one of 2 walks allowed by Orioles pitching so far in the game. Pedro Ciriaco waiting on deck as he has come into the game for Will Middlebrooks. If you're just joining us, he has re-injured that right wrist on a swing. That is strike 3 to Saltalamacchia. Make it strike 2. Scoreboard had it wrong, and so did I. It's full count now. Runner goes on the 3-2, and it'll miss inside for ball 4. Saltalamacchia has walked for the second time tonight. That's the 3rd walk allowed by Orioles pitching, and the first for Schlereth. So 2 on, 2 outs, and Pedro Ciriaco coming up. Ciriaco finished the first at bat for Will Middlebrooks, ended up grounding out to second base back in the first inning. Orioles have a left-hander in the game. They got a left-hander warming in the pen, and check swing here for Ciriaco ends up foul. That is Zach Britton, who is in the pen for the Orioles. Britton's ready to go if Showalter decides to go in that direction. He's been warming for most of the inning. Up and away, 1-1.
I guess I should give the weather report, Donna. If you're going to come down to Florida for the weekend, bring a jacket.
A little chilly.
It's going to get cool down here. It's going to be in the 60s before the weekend is over, so nights will be a little bit chilly. I had some warm, muggy weather the last couple of days.
This one fouled off to the right, out of play. Yeah, overcast, too.
A lot of fog a couple of nights ago. I was sitting out on the lanai, and I was deep in thought and looking out into the fog.
You do that a lot.
I do that. Yeah. I do. I like staring at nothing.
Usually it's in your hotel room, but down here it's in the lanai.
He's the lanai. Yeah. Yes, I was out on the lanai.
1-2 pitch. Leonard second takes off, and taking third base easily is Victorino. Did it on his own. Saltalamacchia is still at first base.
Left-hander paying no attention at all. See the big break. They're playing deep. The infielders are with 2 outs as they should be, and Victorino just easily walks into third base.
Now, while you're in your lanai,
Yeah.
do you have a chair that's yours that no one else sits in? That's Jerry's area in the lanai. I mean, is that
Yes, I do.
you do?
Yes, I do.
I had a feeling.
I have 2 chairs, one to sit in and one to put my feet up on.
Oh, so you're taking up 2 chairs.
2 of the 4 chairs.
All for you.
Yes.
Must be nice to be the rem dog on a lanai. This one is fouled off to the right, out of play.
When I was a kid, they used to call it a porch. But now they're lanais down here in Florida. I used to sit on the porch when I was a kid.
Yeah, well, it's just a fancy name for porch, really, at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah. I like the porch. But I like being there by myself.
You like to be by yourself a lot.
I don't like to have people around me while I'm on the lanai.
No people.
No people.
That way you don't have to talk to anybody.
Right.
Talking to me during the season must really be annoying.
No, because it's the only time I really talk.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of have to in this job, you know?
It is a requirement now that you mention it. Grounded foul over by the Red Sox dugout. Well, you could lay out all the time, and just that's your style. Your style is not to say anything. You can do that.
There's been times I've done that, yeah. Some terrible
Just
game.
lay out.
Just lay out. Yeah. It's the best thing to do. Nothing good to say, don't say anything.
Siriaco, the liner into left center field, a base hit. From third comes Victorino. To third goes Saltalamacchia. And the Red Sox tie the game 1 aside. 2-out RBI single for Pedro Siriaco.
Well, we told you earlier, you keep that fastball around the plate to Siriaco, he's going to make good, solid contact. And he gets a high fastball here, and he takes it right in the center field into that gap, but tracked down by Adam Jones out there. And Siriaco drives in that first run as Victorino, who was hit by a pitch, scores the tying run for the Red Sox.
So first and third, 2 down. Here's Stephen Drew, lined out to the center fielder Adam Jones in the second inning. Hey, look down to the field here at Ed Smith Stadium and you see the retired number of Hall of Fame manager Earl Weaver, who passed away just a couple of weeks ago. Great former Orioles manager. And a guy who was managing when you played, Jerry.
Sure was, and what a manager he was. He had some great teams in Baltimore, and I'll tell you, the little guy could really battle the umpires. He was one of the best I've ever seen at going after umpires, and unfortunately on a cruise, lost his life this past off season.
He was on the Red Sox cruise for a number of years. The Red Sox and Orioles shared the same cruise. This is in the air to left center field. McLeod to his left is under it, and he'll put it away to end the inning. Red Sox get a run, tie the score. We'll hear from some of you when we come back. 1-1 as we get ready for the last half of the third inning, and we've been talking about taking your Twitter questions tonight and comments throughout the night. And Jenny Dell has been keeping an eye on that for us.
I certainly have, Don. So our next subject we're going to talk about is the pitchers. Obviously, pitchers get rotated out all throughout spring training. Coaches and managers want to see these pitchers in action, give players opportunities to perform. So we want to know at home what you think about the Red Sox pitching staff right now. So if you can tweet us using the hashtag Nesson ST13 and hashtag On The Mound. That's On The Mound. And also, I just want to let you know the Red Sox just announced that Will Middlebrooks has a sore right wrist. And that's all we know right now. We're going to look into more information on that for you.
All right, Jay, again, for those of you who are just joining us tonight, of course, that was the wrist that he fractured a year ago and injured it again tonight on a swing, appeared to re-aggravate it. We'll learn more later, I'm sure. Here is Koji Uehara into the game for the Red Sox, the former Oriole, and last year, so member of the Texas Rangers, important member of the Rangers last year, 37th appearances, no record last year, a 1.75 earned run average, but look at the strikeout to walk ratio.
Yeah.
43-3, that's good.
That's very, very impressive. Only 3 walks all season long in those 36 innings.
And Jenny was just talking about the pitching, Jerry. Your thoughts on the pitching? It appears the bullpen is going to be very, very good for the Red Sox.
Yeah, we kind of touched on this a little bit in the first game that we did, and, it really all comes down to the starting pitching, I think, with the Boston Red Sox. And good starting pitching makes the bullpen better. I think the bullpen is very, very deep. I think they've got a lot of good live arms out in that bullpen that are capable of shutting teams down late in the game, but really it comes down to, as John Farrell said today, the bullpen really only is as good as the starting pitchers are, and is how deep they can get into ball games. You start getting in there in the 5th inning, and the bullpen doesn't look as good all of a sudden. So, but a lot of good arms out in that bullpen. I would say going into spring training, that's the strength of the club.
This one fouled back off the screen. Nolan Reimold leading it off. They're in the bottom of the 3rd inning for the Orioles. Reimold, Roberts, and Markakis expected to face Uehara here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. A lot resting on the shoulders, really, of John Lester and John Lackey, Clay Buchholz, and the rest of the starting staff. A good start for Ryan Dempster yesterday. Here's swing and a miss for Reimold, and Uehara picks up his first strikeout.
Looked like a split-fingered fastball that time from Uehara to pick up the strikeout. That ball darting down and out of the strike zone.
One down for Brian Roberts. I think we're both kind of rooting for Brian Roberts to return this year for the O's. He is a good guy and a very good player for the Orioles who has battled a series of injuries and concussions over the last few years and was not part of the Orioles' run last year. If anybody should have been it, should have been Brian Roberts, because he was there for a lot of the lean years, leading the way as a leadoff hitter and everyday second baseman for them, but appears to be doing well this spring so far as he tries to battle back, and he sends one deep and far down the right field line out of play.
I used to be the lunchroom down there, Don, way down the right field line.
It wasn't really a good one either.
Yeah, it's down near our truck right now, and it was not a good lunchroom.
No.
And by the time you got back to the booth, you were hungry again.
Exhausted, sweaty. Pitch will miss, and it's 1-2. Yeah, it was right out there somewhere.
Way out there, yeah. That's
a different building, though. It's not there anymore. It was almost like a trailer. This one is chopped down the first base line softly. Nava will tag Roberts for the second out of the inning. It's amazing how you remember the bad things. You don't remember the positives.
That's kind of our personality.
Yes, it is. All the stuff that was terrible, we remember. The lunchroom was terrible. The booth was terrible. 2 outs in the 3rd, and here's Nick Markakis. Markakis flied out center field in the 1st inning, 0 for 1. This one fouled up and above us onto the roof. Originally a first-round pick by the Orioles. 7th overall in 2003. Nick Markakis strung together a number of good years for the Orioles. Sends that one foul over by the Red Sox dugout. Broke his left thumb. CC Sabathia broke his left thumb that ended his year last year on September the 8th. This one fouled back to the screen. So he was not part of the playoff run for the Orioles. Big part of their big season, though. But when it came down to the playoffs, Nick Markakis not part of it for the O's.
Hey, a lot of people thought when Markakis went down last year that might be the end of the Oriole run, but their pitching was too good.
Well, they kept it going. 0-2 is over the outside corner. Very impressive inning. The relief for Koji Uehara. We're through 3. Game tied 1-1. Sox fans, create your own double play ticket package by combining 2 great Red Sox games. Choose one game in April or May. Pair that with either an opening day or a summer weekend game for double the fun. Tickets are available in a variety of seating locations throughout Fenway Park. So choose your games now at redsox.com/tickets. Well, nice night tonight in Sarasota, Florida. Very comfortable conditions. The home of the Orioles as we head to the top half of the 4th inning. Game tied 1-1, and the O's bring on their 3rd pitcher of the night, another lefty, Zach Britton, in the game. Last year, 11 games, 5-3 with a 5.07 earned run average and 60 1/3. Give up 61 hits, 53 Ks at 32 walks, and Britton comes in for Daniel Schlereth. Went an inning and a third, giving up a hit, no runs, a walk, and no strikeouts. Red Sox have action as the inning begins as Andrew Bailey warms in the pen. So kind of seeing the back end of the Red Sox pen tonight early in the game. We've already seen Hanrahan in the 2nd inning, and Koji Uehara has worked an inning, and now Bailey up in the pen with Johnny Gomes to lead it off here for the Red Sox in the top half of the 4th inning. Gomes popped out to the pitcher, Chris Tillman, back in the 2nd inning at the time. Johnny Gomes has found his way into the postseason quite a bit over the last few years. As that one's in there for a strike. Oakland A's last year.
I don't think Johnny Gomes agreed with that call. I believe he thought that ball was a little bit low.
Get another look at that first pitch.
Because it made it look a lot worse the way Wheatus caught the ball, but it did appear low to me.
Gomes hits one high and deep to left. McLeod going back, looking up, and that ball is very gone. Up over the bleachers in left field. Johnny Gomes gets into that one. And the Red Sox take a 2-1 lead on the home run for Johnny Gomes.
Well, they tried to stay down in the zone against Johnny Gomes. They did with 3 straight pitches. And on the third one, he takes it way over the bleachers out there in left field. You see the location of this fastball. It's going to be down. Johnny Gomes right down with it. And a high, long home run for the Red Sox left fielder. And Zach Britton knows there is little doubt that ball is going to be gone.
There's Daniel Nava after the home run by Gomes. Nava takes strike 1. So Britton looking to regroup here. Orioles have surrendered the lead. Red Sox take a 2-1 advantage. Nava walked his first time up. Johnny Gomes can do that to you. Long home run for Gomes. 1-1 in the dirt, and it's 2-1. Nava gets the arms out of the way and takes a pitch up and in. Nava laces this foul. He's out ahead. A line drive down towards the Red Sox pen. Navu played 88 games last year, none in the majors in 2011. Spent his entire 2011 season with Pawtucket, 121 games, and the year before that making his major league debut with the Red Sox in 2010. There is strike 3. He was getting out of the way, but gets in there for a strike, and that's the second strikeout tonight for Orioles pitching.
Last year on August 10th, Ismail Rogers hit Will Middlebrooks, and of course that was the end of the season for Middlebrooks. And then unfortunately tonight, as we see that right wrist swell up, Middlebrooks re-injuring the right wrist on a swing and miss. And only time will tell how bad that is.
You can tell Middlebrooks did not think it was a good thing as he fired the helmet down the steps of the dugout. It was off the glove of Britton, and it goes out to short. Nothing Hardy can do with it because Britton really slowed it down, getting a piece of that. And reaching at first base is Mark Hamilton.
And that's one Britton's very upset that he didn't make a play on, because he is falling off toward the third base side, and that ball was on the third base side. Just doesn't get down low enough, doesn't get the glove low enough. Right off the end of it, and on to first base goes Hamilton.
1 out, 1 on, a run in. And Jacoby Ellsbury, the batter's third AB of the night. He was struck out and popped out in his first 2. On the ground right side, Roberts will go to second for 1. It's Ellsbury running. They dig it out, and it's in time. Nicely done by Davis on the backhand, even with Ellsbury running. The O's turn a double play, but the Red Sox on a home run by Gomes take a 2-1 lead. Sox fans, chill out at spring training with Nesson and a Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee in hand by entering the Chill Out at Spring Training sweepstakes. For your chance to win a trip to Fort Myers, follow Nesson and use hashtag Dunkin' Ice Sweeps to tell us how you'd most enjoy a Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee. For more details or to enter online, visit Nesson.com/Dunkin' Donuts. Johnny Gomes with a solo home run to left field has the Red Sox on top 2-1 as we head to the last half of the fourth inning. And the Red Sox will bring on their fourth pitcher of the game.
One more look at the Johnny Gomes home run, a low fastball, and he picks up his first of the spring. A no-doubter.
Andrew Bailey into the game for the Red Sox. His second season with Boston last year. Injured to begin the year. Of course, happened in spring training again and has had trouble with injuries over the years. 6 out of 9 and save opportunities last year. And John Farrell let him know during the offseason when Joel Hanrahan was acquired that Hanrahan would be the closer. And Bailey on board. I'm not sure he's thrilled about it, but he is on board and will likely work late in the game. 8th inning type situations. Bailey just trying to stay healthy. Adam Jones leading it off for the Orioles will pop it up. Foul ground. Nava headed over. Nava towards the seats will make the play. Nicely done. Bangs into the railing but holds on to the baseball.
A little different, you know, in the infield. You get to those fences a little bit sooner. You can see Nava take a peek. He makes the catch and he still has a little room. He had less room than he thought he had and ends up on his backside almost.
Handles the first out of the bottom of the fourth inning. Matt Wieters coming up here for the Orioles. Wieters with a single to center field drove in the Orioles' only run on their only base hit. Red Sox out hitting the Orioles 4-1 as they come to bat here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Nice job so far. Franklin Morales, one perfect inning. Joel Hanrahan did give up a run. Was an error committed in that inning. And then Koji Uehara had a 1-2-3 third inning. 2 strikeouts and a ground out. And that takes us to Andrew Bailey, who's working here in the fourth.
Well, you know, we talked, John, about the depth of the Red Sox bullpen. I mean, this is a good example right here, what you've seen in the last 3 guys. Got to give Andrew Bailey a lot of credit. He said all the right things when they got Hanrahan, and the fact that he's not going to be the closer to start spring training. If everybody remains healthy, he's going to start as probably a setup guy, and everybody wants that closer's role. There's no question about that, but he's handled himself very well.
And he's a guy who's had success in that role. It's not like he failed at it.
That's exactly right.
Wandy Evis, the new pitching coach for the Red Sox, and John Farrell, of course, a big part of that area as well. Hard not to be. It's what he did. It's who he is, and such a big part of the Red Sox pitching staff when he was here as the pitching coach. This is to right, falling fast. Victorino will have it land in front of him. Wieters kind of fought that pitch off, and he's got another hit. He's 2 for 2.
That's the second time tonight that Wieters has gone up in the strike zone to get on top of a ball for a base hit. Once again, that fastball up about letter high, but Wieters gets his hands on top of the ball and has a sinking line drive into right field for the base hit.
1 out, 1 on, and Chris Davis coming up. Davis made a nice pick out of the dirt to end last inning on a double play turned by the Orioles. A strikeout victim in his first at bat of the night. And a wild swing and a miss for strike 1. Just get the feeling this guy could keep at any time, and he did 33 times last year. That's strike 2. Strike 3 call over the outside corner. Nice job by Bailey. Makes quick work of Davis. 2 down.
And pretty nasty right there. Goes to the outside part of the plate to pick up the strikeout. That's where Saltalamacchia is set up. They want the ball high. They want it away. That's exactly where they get it. And they pick up the punch out.
2 down, Wieters at first base, and J.J. Hardy coming up. He walked in the second inning. There's strike 1 as Bailey starts off ahead. Andrew Bailey with the Oakland A's. 26 saves in his first year, 25 the next, 24 the next, but injuries just about every year. Finding his way onto the DL, and much the same last year. Only 6 saves last year in a Red Sox uniform. Only appeared in 19 games with Boston last season. This marks his second year with the Red Sox. Swing and a miss for Hardy. McLeod on deck, 2 down in the Orioles' 4th inning. Matt Wieters at first base. And Bailey trying to work his way around a 1-out single here in the inning. He in the dirt. Nicely knocked down and blocked by Saltalamacchia.
And Saltalamacchia, of course, calling for the breaking ball and expecting that ball to be down low in the dirt. That's exactly where he wants it. And actually, those become one of the easiest for catchers to block because they expect the ball down there.
Hardy with a swing and a miss. Bailey with back-to-back Ks. Nice job in the 4th inning. We are through 4 in Sarasota. It's 2-1. Red Sox have the lead. Boston has a 2-1 lead as we head to the top half of the 5th inning. We talked a lot about tonight. Jared Saltalamacchia doing the catching for the Red Sox, and with more, Jamie Erdahl.
Don, Jared Saltalamacchia and Will Middlebrooks have been named player spokesmen for the Jimmy Fund's 8th annual rally against cancer. The pair have also been named co-captains for the Jimmy Fund this year. I spoke with Will Middlebrooks before the game about what being involved with the Jimmy Fund so much means to him this year, and he said during his rookie program he really found out all the great things the Jimmy Fund does for people, and he just, from that point on, he decided that he wanted to be as involved as he possibly could, and let's just say being a player spokesman for the Jimmy Fund definitely falls under that category.
It certainly does, and we had a lot of great players over the years do that. The incredible partnership through the Red Sox and the Jimmy Fund continues. As we continue here into the 5th inning, Dustin Pedroia leading it off. Shane Victorino, then Jared Saltalamacchia. Pedroia 1 for 2 tonight. He singled in the 1st inning as he taps this one foul right around the dish.
And Pedroia took a curveball back in the 1st inning and shot it to the opposite field. That curveball down around his ankles, and he fouls it off.
Shane Victorino waiting on deck. Nobody out here in the 5th. Then he'll skip in. The Red Sox on the road tonight here against the Orioles in Sarasota. They'll go to Bradenton tomorrow. Take on the Pirates, a day game tomorrow. And then we'll be back with you on Friday night as the Pittsburgh Pirates will be coming into JetBlue Park.
Yeah, Bradenton just about 10 minutes from here.
John Farrell is there. Strike 3 to Pedroia. He didn't like it and says some stuff to Tim Welke. He's out number 1 of the 5th.
I didn't like it either. Looked like that ball might have been inside, and Pedroia didn't like it, but Britton gets the call. See Pedroia jumping back, but apparently picked up the inside corner.
The 1 down here in the 5th inning for Shane Victorino. Yeah, John Farrell was asked for the game if there were players staying here, or anybody staying here overnight rather than coming all the way back and by here to Bradenton tomorrow. And he said no. Just the coaching staff, everybody is going back because he's going to have an entirely different roster tomorrow with him to take on the Pirates. Anybody who's playing tonight will not likely be playing the day game tomorrow. Makes sense. Certainly have enough guys in camp to do that when you have these night game followed by day game type scenarios. 2-0 pitch, swing and a miss, 2-1.
Now the other thing too is you got such a long spring this year that it's you can do this. You can give guys complete days off, especially early in the spring, and have no effect at all on them.
They're not entirely off either. They'll be doing workouts back, full workout day at JetBlue Park. There's a pop up. And as Roberts calling off Davis and makes the catch in short right for the 2nd out of the inning. IMG Academy in Bradenton. Florida has trained some of the world's top athletes. Now it's your turn. Go to NESN.com/IMG for your chance to win a free week of youth sports camp. 2 down here in the 5th inning. We're just talking about Jared Saltalamacchia, and here he is with 2 outs in the 5th. He has been very patient at the plate tonight, has walked on 2 occasions. And take strike 1. Britton appears to be settling in. Do you agree that spring training lights are not the same as Major League in-season lights?
Not even close. Not even close.
It just seems a little dark to me.
It is dark, and you really, back in the day, you didn't play hardly any night games, maybe 1 per spring, but it's certainly different now with television. You play a lot more night games, and lights in these ballparks. These are generally A ballparks, classification of A, and you don't get the conditions, obviously, you get in the major leagues, so it's kind of a welcome when you start the season and you get those good lighting for night games.
Well, nice inning for Britton. The Red Sox down in order. We're halfway through this one. Boston on top, 2-1. As we come to you from Sarasota. Ball in Nesson is brought to you in part by Bob's Discount Furniture. You score extreme quality, choice, and value at Bob's Discount Furniture, in-store and online at mybobs.com. Now we head to the last half of the fifth inning back in Sarasota, Florida. The Red Sox have a 2-1 lead as some changes for the Red Sox defensively. Mike Carp traded over from the Seattle Mariners to the Red Sox last week and will take over at first base for Daniel Nava. New pitcher for the Red Sox as well, Andrew Miller into the game. The tall left-hander into 53 games last year, 3-2 mark with a 3.35 earned run average. Logged 40 in the third innings. Opponents hit under 200 against Miller last year at 194. And he already is the fifth pitcher of the night for the Red Sox, and he deals with strike one to Nate McLouth. McLouth a strikeout victim in the second inning. Red Sox pitching with 6 strikeouts in the game so far. Hanrahan had 2, Uehara had 2, and Bailey had 2. And they've only surrendered 2 hits in the game. Andrew Bailey gave up a single. Joel Hanrahan allowed a single.
Is it my imagination, or is Andrew Miller's hair longer than last year?
I was just going to say the same thing. He has more moss. As this one is foul. I mean, he already had flowing moss, but now he's got this. I mean, that's like a mane. I like it. I don't know about you. I don't know how you feel about it. I like it.
I think it looked good on you, Don.
I think so, too. I just don't think my hair can grow that long. There's strike 3 as McLouth down by way of the K. 7 strikeouts for Red Sox pitching. Good start for Andrew Miller.
Now staying with the fastball and staying away from McLouth. 3 straight strikeouts in a row for the Red Sox pitching. Bailey with a couple to end last inning, and now Miller here in the 5th.
One down for Wilson Benemet, who grounded out his first time up. Broken bat, splintered on a liner to short that's caught by Drew. Able to grab it in the air. Some of that bat is on the infield grass in several different spots.
Well, Andrew Miller has that kind of fastball. If he gets in on right-handers, he can break some bats, and he certainly did that time. That thing shot it all over the infield. Drew making the catch before the ball hits the dirt.
We've been enjoying a lot of tweets tonight from our fans, and monitoring that for us has been Jenny Dell. There's more.
That's right. Eugene Hicks tweeted us. He said, on the mound, just think we have the best pitching coach in the majors as our manager. P-staff could be great this year. Now, Don and Jerry, this is something we talked a lot about on our road trip a few weeks ago. How involved do you think Farrell will be with this pitching staff?
Well, I think, as involved as you possibly can be without distracting from your main job, which is being the manager. But it's very clear that pitching is in his background, and we talked a lot about it on that trip, 4 days throughout New England, and the fact that he sees some things that obviously other guys are not going to see, and if he does, he'll bring it up to his pitching coach. But he'll let his pitching coach build a rapport with the pitchers and let them get on the same page with things.
I mean, how do you not, when that's been your specialty for so many years, what you did? I mean, we've seen it on the other side. Catchers. I mean, Mike Scioscia, he works with his catchers more than anybody else because that's what Mike Scioscia was.
Exactly. And Nieves, it's a guy that Farrell has to have tremendous confidence in because, when you've been a successful pitching coach like he has been, you don't want to hog that position from your pitching coach. I mean, you want this guy to be it. And they'll work very closely together, and that's what he needs, a guy that he can work, doesn't have an ego, is going to take some advice from the manager, and that's just the way they're going to work. But, Farrell in particular knows the guys that work here, and I'm sure he had a big part in that.
However, he's got to be very careful not to alienate the other guys, the position players, because now you're worrying about 25 different players. There's on the ground, and it hits the runner. He'll be out. And that will end the inning, the third out of the inning. We have played 5 tonight from Sarasota. The Red Sox are holding on to a 2-1 lead. Red Sox Spring Training Baseball on Nesson is brought to you by Jordan's Furniture. Jordan's is your official beauty rest headquarters and official furniture store of the Boston Red Sox. Well, a 2-1 lead for the Red Sox as we head to the top half of the 6th inning. And tonight, Will Middlebrooks re-injuring apparently that right wrist, as in this game, Shane Victorino hit by a pitch. Pedro Siriaco able to get on as well. Red Sox kind of setting the table. As Siriaco driving in a run, the first run for the Red Sox. Then Johnny Gomes with a solo home run to left field over the bleachers in left. And the Red Sox took a 2-1 lead with that home run.
And we understand that Middlebrooks will be reevaluated tomorrow. Of course, when the Red Sox get back from this little road trip, team doctors will take a look at him when we get back to Fort Myers.
Red Sox calling it right wrist soreness, but certainly not a good thing where that is where he fractured his wrist a year ago. As we head here to the top of the 6th inning, multiple changes here for the Orioles. Daniel McCutchen is the new pitcher. His season last year entailed 37 appearances for McCutchen. 7-2 with a nifty 2.89 earned run average in the minor leagues. Siriaco took over for Will Middlebrooks in the first inning, leads it off now in inning number 6. Orioles have now used 4 pitchers in the game. And they've retired 5 Red Sox in a row. Siriaco with a swing and a miss.
At second base for the Orioles, number 93, Zealous Wheeler.
This one grounded foul outside of third. Now Weeder's night is over as the Orioles have a new catcher, as Taylor Teagarden has taken over in behind the dish. Softly blew it towards second, a one hopper that is picked on the short lawn and right. And that is out number 1 of the inning. Siriaco retired. Jerry, do we know who that gentleman is?
Number 93 is not listed on the roster anywhere. They go as high as 91. I can tell you who 91 is. Okay. Mike Griffin.
All righty. Was a nice rangy play to his right. One out here in the 6th inning.
That's hole number 93.
Here's Stephen Drew with 2 outs in the inning. There's strike 1. Drew lined out to center in the 2nd. Flied out to left in the 3rd. Okay, Jerry, he is Zealous Wheeler.
Okay.
We have our information. Wheeler took over for Roberts. And the author of that very nice play at second base a moment ago.
It was only average, Don. It wasn't.
I thought it was spectacular. Go with it.
Wasn't a great play.
Pitches outside. Just one time. Just go with it.
It was kind of a 93 kind of play. Really.
2-1 will miss. Outfield straight away on Drew with Johnny Gomes waiting on deck. Full count now. Cutchin taking over for Zach Britton. Pretty close to full.
Beautiful shot here from Sarasota.
On the outside corner for strike 3. Drew down by way of the K. 2 down here in the 6th inning.
And keeping that fastball on the 3-1 count and 3-2 count away from Drew. Pick up the strikeout. Quite a few strikeouts in this ball game tonight, combined by both clubs. See the fan behind home plate? He did not agree with that call at all.
Not happy.
Was not happy a bit.
Mm-hmm. 5 strikeouts for Orioles pitching in the game tonight. Red Sox have 7. There's strike one to Gomes.
Now check out the guy behind home plate. After this, he's not even watching. He hears the strike call and he's up. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like it. He didn't even see the pitch.
He's got a Stanley Cup champions shirt on there. Softly to short. Hardy's got to hurry. And the throw in time to get Johnny Gomes. Sox down in order. We're through 5.5 tonight. Red Sox have a 2-1 lead. Bruins wrap up 2 weeks on the road, return to the Garden Ice tomorrow night when they face off against the Ottawa Senators. NESN's unsurpassed coverage of this important Northeast Division matchup comes your way live at 6:30. Don't miss the Bruins and Senators tomorrow night live on NESN. Now we roll into the bottom of the 6th inning back in Sarasota, Florida, with the Red Sox on top 2-1. And on the mound for the Red Sox heading into the inning is Tazawa. And Shinichi Tazawa on the hill becomes pitcher number 6 of the night for the Red Sox. He takes over for Andrew Miller, win an inning. Tazawa had 37 appearances last year, 1-1 with a nifty 1.43 earned run average. Terrific year for him last year, Jerry. The strikeout to walk ratio incredible as well for Tazawa.
Tazawa was a real surprise for them. Well, I'm not sure a surprise. I think Red Sox front office people knew that he was capable of doing what he was going to do last year for the Red Sox, but certainly a surprise to all of us because we just had not seen a lot of him.
Well, he was terrific last year and vying for a spot in the bullpen again this year. He will deal with the heart of this Orioles order. Markakis, Jones, the first 2 hitters for the Orioles. And we'll see if Teagarden bats for Wieters in that 3rd spot. Markakis 0 for 2. He's flied out to center field and struck out looking. Red Sox have 4 hits in the game. The Orioles have 3.
Vazquez coming in to catch for Saltalamacchia, and it looked like he took that one right off the wrist.
Christian Vazquez. Saltalamacchia on base a few times tonight, walking twice, once in the 1st, once in the 3rd, and he struck out looking in the 5th. Markakis takes the strike.
A curveball there by Tazawa to pick up the strike.
He doesn't like it. He hates it. Oh,
Ball 2, 2-2.
And Tazawa wanted that one real bad. Thought he had that fastball about knee high. Did not get the call, and little drop of the shoulders.
Little stroll, too. Walk around the mound clockwise. Two balls, two strikes. The leadoff hitter, Nick Markakis, to begin the bottom of the 6th inning. And that is chop foul. We'll do it again. 2-2.
Jared Saltalamacchia, of course, does not do his fingernails on a regular basis, but for games sometimes he does them, and he'll do them in white, as you can see, so the pitchers can see the signs a little bit better. He's hiding it right now, but those fingernails painted in white. And especially in some of these ballparks where the lighting is not good, makes it a little bit easier for the pitchers and infielders to see the signs.
This is back up the middle into center field. Markakis with a good at bat and a base hit to get the bottom of the 6th inning started.
Markakis reaching out for a ball that might have been off the outside part of the plate and lines it right by Tazawa for the base hit.
Chris Dickerson is going to pinch run at first base for Markakis, who comes out of the game. So Dickerson now at first. Nick Markakis with a base hit to get the 6th inning started for the O's. And it brings up Adam Jones, who is 0 for 2. Reached on an error at third base, committed by Siriaco in the 2nd inning, and then fouled out to the first baseman at the time, Daniel Nava, in the 4th inning. There's strike one over the outside corner. Teagarden has come out on deck for the Orioles. He will bat in the spot of Matt Wieters. Took over for him behind the plate. And he will be batting in Wieters' spot as Jones takes a ball outside. Another close pitch in the eyes of Tazawa. He's had a few that he's wanted in this inning of relief here in the 6th inning. That'll drop in there for a strike. Tazawa's had a good breaking ball, 1-2. Mind you, Ness and Daly coming up right after the game.
We're going to be on Ness and Daly, aren't we, Don?
I think we are.
Yeah.
Have been a couple of times this week without you. And,
yeah, you've been hosting the show, right?
Sunday night and Monday night. I know you wanted to host. You wanted to host for a long time.
Just wasn't good enough.
He's fouled back to the screen, still 1-2.
And sometimes you got to admit things, and if you're just not good enough, you're just not good enough.
I think you're very good. I think you'd be terrific at it.
At hosting?
Yes. 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night.
No, I don't do good work after 9.
It's usually the 6th inning of most of our games. And by the way, it's 9:03 right now.
Well, that's it. It's over. See you later.
So the rest is subpar.
And I drove, too.
Oh, no. That's not good. 1-2 pitch chopped off the plate. Deep third. Long throw for Siriaco. It's a fair ball and a nice play.
It's a nice throw by Siriaco at third base. We were talking about earlier in the game, the things that he can do. And he showed a very strong throwing arm last year, and he shows a very good arm again right here from third base, just about in foul territory, right over the top, and gets Jones a very good runner going down the line by just a half a step. So a nice play by Pedro Siriaco. That was pretty good for after 9 o'clock. That wasn't bad.
Not bad at all. I think you're selling yourself short on your work after 9 o'clock.
No, it's really the hosting part of it.
You just want no part of that, do you?
No, I don't want any part of it, and I'm not any good at it.
Well, I'm with you. 1 on, 1 out. Here's Taylor Teagarden batting for the first time as he takes strike one. A nice night tonight for Matt Wieters. Catcher he took over for Wieters was 2 for 2, 2 singles and a run batted in.
Do you use the teleprompter when you're hosting?
No, no.
You really don't?
I write it all out and try to remember it, which is part of the problem.
That would be a major problem.
It's a major problem.
I could probably host if I had a teleprompter.
Oh, sure, if you could read it.
I could just read it. But then what happens when the teleprompter goes down?
See, that's the problem. You control the teleprompter, and the first time I went to use it, you do it, it's on your iPad. So I went to flip it.
I don't have an iPad.
Okay, well, it's just a touch thing.
Yeah.
You just go like this, and both paragraphs just went flip, and they're gone. And you're just sitting there. How you doing? Welcome to Nesson Daily. I got nothing.
Yeah.
Back to you.
Run some highlights.
Yeah. So I decided after that, the first night, that I'm not doing it that way.
Yeah.
So I'm doing it my way, and it wasn't good.
Well, you're getting rave reviews.
Oh, yeah.
Everything I hear has been very positive.
So much so that I'm not scheduled to do another one the rest of the spring.
Oh, really?
Yes, that's it.
Too bad.
They saw enough. 3 nights was good. Dickerson at second base with 1 out. Teagarden waiting on a 1-2 pitch. That's in the dirt, and it is smothered by Vasquez. It's a whole different thing, though, than play-by-play. I mean, we do a game, we see it, we call it.
Right.
But when you're anchoring,
now all it would take was one thing to mess up, one highlight or the teleprompter,
right.
Just one thing, and that the whole show would be gone. I'd just walk off.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know what to do.
It'd be embarrassing. And then you'd be YouTubed everywhere.
Yeah,
that you walked off in the middle of the show.
Well, we've been through that before. That
just left. We've never left though in the middle of a broadcast. There's strike 3. Teagarden is down by way of the K. 2 down in the inning.
And Tazawa getting control of that fastball that time to pick up the strikeout. So after the leadoff single, back-to-back outs, there's the fastball right down the middle of the plate. And Teagarden just watching as it goes by.
The other thing you have to do, you have to write your own stuff.
What's that?
You have to write your own stuff when you're an anchor.
Can't do that either.
Well, Davis batting here with 2 outs and Dickerson at second base. Time called, and they have charged a balk. Balk called by the home plate umpire, Tim Welke. And Tazawa trying to figure out what he did.
Well, it must have started and stopped. That's the only thing I can think of. We'll get a better look on replay. See if Tazawa gets on that rubber. Once he gets on the rubber, if he starts and stops, it's a balk. Now, does he go up and come back down? No, he pointed.
He pointed.
He just pointed and put his finger down, and they called the balk.
That was odd.
Hey, you don't see that call very often, do you? There's the move they're talking about. He's just going to point to home plate. Well, is that the same replay?
I don't think that was the same one.
Oh.
Let's go, Mamba!
No one is fouled off to the left, out of play.
I was really getting ready to jump the umpires. Yeah,
that was terrible. He did nothing.
He did nothing at all.
Easy, Tiger. Give it a second. This is not Tim Welke's first rodeo.
What do you say here? Strike him out. What do you got here?
Davis trying to drive in the tying run with Dickerson 90 feet away. 2 outs here in the 6th inning. Just outside. Tazawa again slunching the shoulders. Wanted that pitch.
He's been close to the strike zone all night long, but he has not got the benefit of the close call.
Come on,
There's the reaction from Tazawa. Thought he had strike 3.
So one chop foul in and out of the Orioles dugout on the first base side. Still 1-2.
Don, remind me, with this 2 outs in inning, remind me next inning to tell you the story about yesterday. One of the fans I saw at City of Palms, not City of Palms, JetBlue Park.
Yep.
At Fenway South.
Okay.
I've been meaning to tell you. I forgot you've been telling you driving up here today.
Well, we had a quick ride. It was only an hour and 20 minutes here to Sarasota.
We had a lot of talking to do, too, on the way up here.
Yes. We have more to do after the game. Number of issues. 1-2 in the air to left field. Gomes going back at the wall. He leaps in lefty makes the catch. No, it's gone. It is gone. Looked as if the third base umpire had put up his hand to indicate that he had made the catch, but no catch there. It's a 2-run shot and a 3-2 lead.
That ball hit a long way to the opposite field. And Tazawa cannot be happy. He thought he had him struck out. There goes Gomes back to the wall. He'll go into a jump. And it gets by his glove right near that picnic area.
Well, he nearly had that timed right and almost caught it out there, but does not. And the Orioles have retaken the lead 3-2.
Good pitch.
Comes with 2 outs, and this guy's got both home run balls. He has been terrific out there. I don't know how he must have got it on a hop. Gomes' home run, and now has Davis's home run. Davis had 33 of them last year. It's a home run here to put the Orioles on top. She asked for it, but the little kid got it.
So everybody's happy.
Yep.
Strike him out here. What do you say?
On the ground, a fair ball. Down the right field line, and Victorino will get it back in, but a base hit for Hardy. So Tazawa all of a sudden is giving up a few hits and a couple runs in the inning.
And this all coming after it looked like strike 3. But instead a 2-run home run, and now the base hit down the first baseline by J.J. Hardy.
Romero pitch running at first base as J.J. Hardy leaves after a base hit. Nate McLeod 0 for 2 in the game. He struck out in the second, struck out in the fifth.
Peanuts and Jack.
Down the left field line, Gomes on the run, won't get there, drops in for a hit, and heading for third base and getting there is Romero on the double down the left field line by Nate McLeod. The Orioles have runners at second and third. With another pinch runner coming in as out goes Juan Nieves. Looks like Xavier Avery will run at second base for Nate McLeod as Nieves out to talk to Tazawa.
Now McLeod, after a couple of strikeouts in the game, going to the opposite field to pick up the base hit against Tazawa and keep this inning alive for the Orioles. So lefties going the other way against Tazawa here in this inning. That ball just dropping in front of Johnny Gomes when the ball goes into third base. McLeod goes into scoring position at second base. Throw probably should have gone into second.
Second and third now with 2 outs in the inning. Yeah, Wilson Benjamin batting for the third time tonight out of the number 9 spot. He's grounded out and lined out. Yes, he takes strike one. Tazawa trying to battle his way through the inning. Orioles have had 4 hits against him in the inning, including a 2-run home run by Chris Davis, which has given the O's the lead. That'll bounce in, blocked by Vasquez nicely.
Yeah, nice job. And once again, it's that breaking ball that they expect in the dirt. That one a little bit more difficult to block, and a nice job by Vasquez to keep that man at third base. That ball bouncing well out in front of the plate.
That's a strike, and it's strike 2. In there for strike 3, and Tazawa ends the inning on a good note. But the Orioles get 2 runs in the inning, a 2-run shot for Chris Davis. The Orioles take a 3-2 lead on this. Three-2, Orioles have the lead over the Red Sox as we head to the top half of the 7th inning. Baltimore taking the lead in the bottom of the 6th inning. Mike Karp leading it off here for the Red Sox. Took over first base for Daniel Nava. Nava had walked and struck out tonight. 59 games last year with the M's out in Seattle.
First base for Lee Baldwin. Second base for 93, Zealous.
Swinging a foul tip into the catcher's mitt. 2-1. McCutcheon out there for right-hander. Out there again. This is line towards left center field, and that'll get in for a base hit. Avery over to play it. Wide turn at first, but Mike Karp's got a single to center. A successful season last year for the Orioles, and Buck Showalter at the head of the list in what was a great year for them. And Jamie, really Buck Showalter, a big difference for this Orioles team as the manager.
Yeah, and all those successes, Don, led him to be named Manager of the Year for the Boston Baseball Writers Association. He came to a dinner earlier in February to be honored by the BBWA, and I asked John Farrell before the game for his thoughts on Buck, and he said the guy knows how to manage a bullpen. He gets pitchers to really understand their roles. He's great at winning one-run games. He's also able to change the atmosphere of a clubhouse, which he's been able to do the past 2 seasons. John Farrell also added that is exactly what he wants to be able to accomplish in his first year with Boston.
He mentioned the one-run games. Had an incredible knack for doing that. The dramatic walk-off wins on a regular basis, and they bought into what Buck Showalter was trying to do and change, make them winners, and that's exactly what they became. But you have to have the horses, and last year they had the horses. And the pitching really stepped up for him at the end of the year in key situations. Hamilton batting for the Red Sox takes a strike in. It's 2-1. On the corner, 2-2.
I was telling you last inning, we went on that 4-day excursion throughout New England, and yesterday I was at JetBlue Park, and a gentleman comes up with a Red Sox shirt on, pulls the shirt open, and he had one of the T-shirts that we were giving away on that trip of Jenny, yourself, and myself, and he was very proud of it. And I know you didn't like that T-shirt because it didn't look like it gave you a lot of hair.
It gave me no hair.
And you were actually coloring your own hair in some of the T-shirts you were giving away to people.
If I had a Sharpie and they asked for it to be signed, I would first fill in some hair,
right,
and then I would sign it.
Exactly.
Because the way the picture was cropped, I mean, I don't have a lot of hair. I mean, I'm not trying to, you know, pull anything over here on anybody. I mean, let's be honest. I don't have a lot of hair. But I do have some hair.
And in
that particular picture on the T-shirt, the illustration, I had no hair.
Right.
I was bald.
Anyway, the guy was very proud. He was very, very proud of having it on. He came up to the booth. You know, I gave him the thumbs up. You know, and
that was a nice moment. In there for a strike. World Tour that started at the State House in New Hampshire, moved to the State House in Vermont, along with other spots in Vermont. We moved from Vermont to Hartford, and then Hartford to Springfield, Springfield to Portland, and wrapped it up in the Providence area. A lot of great people. We thank all of you who came out to see us. 1-1 is outside.
Had fun at that place up Portland. That was a good crowd.
In Portland. Oh, that was a great spot. It was by the Cumberland County Civic Center. And it was very nice.
Yeah.
Across the street from the Civic Center.
A nice crowd down in Providence and Warwick when we went down there too.
Springfield, the Mass Mutual Center.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Springfield,
was also very big.
Yeah.
And the Warwick Mall in Rhode Island, we wrapped it up in. That was a nice group there too at the mall.
Maybe next year we can go to every state in the United States.
That's start earlier. This is into center field. And a base hit. Up to second base goes Carp. On a single by Jacoby Ellsbury on for the first time tonight.
A couple balls hit hard in this inning. Certainly the one by Jacoby Ellsbury. And the one by Carp to lead off the inning. And the Red Sox have a couple of base runners trying to come back in this ball game. That ball sailing away, tailing away, I should say, from Ellsbury, but he still puts it on the line in the center field for the base hit.
So 2 on, 1 away as Mitch Meyer will take over and pinch run. Meyer, the former Kansas City Royal outfielder. So Carp at second, Ellsbury was at first, Meyer now at first base, and Dustin Pedroia takes pitch outside for ball 1.
48, pitch 100.
1 out, 2 on. Snap throw to first and out. No, safe the call. Looks like Meyer may have been out, but he just did get the hand back in apparently.
Yeah, just barely getting that hand back in, as it looked like he was definitely going to be called out at first base. Good pitch for Teagarden to make that attempt to first base.
3-0 is a strike, 3-1.
Mike Martin trying to apply that tag quickly, but not quite in time.
Outside, ball 4, and the base is loaded. So Pedroia on for the second time tonight. Singled in the first, and he walks here in the 7th. And we'll have a pinch runner. Looks like Brock Holt will pinch run. As Buck Showalter out to make a pitching change as the Red Sox load the bases. Actually, it's going to be Diaz, I think, who runs at first. So pitching change here for the Orioles. Troy Patton will be coming in. Important part of the Baltimore bullpen last year, left-hander. The Red Sox Spring Training Baseball on NESN is brought to you by New Cape Flyer. Summer weekend train service from Boston to Hyannis. Getting to the Cape has never been so easy. For information, go to capeflyer.com or call 508-775-8504. Bases loaded, 1 out here in the 7th inning. And the new pitcher, Troy Patton, into the game for the Orioles. Patton last year, 54 games, 1-0 the 2.43 earned run average. He logged 55 2/3 innings. And struck out 49 batters to 12 walks. As Patton warms up here for the Orioles, he becomes their 5th pitcher of the night and works here in the top half of the 7th. Comes into a mess with the Red Sox having the bases loaded. Carp at 3rd, Meyer at 2nd, and Diaz pinch running at first base. As the Red Sox trying to at least even it up here in the inning, trailing by a run. The Orioles taking a 3-2 lead with 2 runs in the 6th inning. We'll be there for opening homestand of the 2013 season as the Baltimore Orioles visit Fenway Park for a 3-game series starting with the home opener April 8th through April the 11th. The action continues April 12th through Marathon Monday on the 15th. And the Sox battle Tampa Bay. Get your tickets for these great matchups at redsox.com/tickets. Well, we're in the midst of the top of the 7th inning at Ed Smith Stadium in Sarasota, Florida, the spring home of the Orioles. And Baltimore with a 3-2 lead, but the Red Sox have the bases loaded with 1 out. And Shane Victorino for his 4th at-bat of the night. He's reached twice without the benefit of a base hit. Fielder's choice in the 1st, hit by a pitch in the 3rd, and popped out to second base in the 5th. As he takes strike 1. Breeze continuing to blow here at Ed Smith Stadium out towards left center field. Very defensive swing. Did he go? He did.
There's certainly one I'll agree with you with, Don, that he did go. There's no question about that. Barrel of the bat coming well out in front of home plate. Not able to hold those wrists up.
Swing and a miss. Tough at bat for Victorino. Patton gets him. Big out. Second out of the 7th inning.
Yeah, switching Victorino that time around to the right side of the plate. And a big strikeout with the bases loaded, keeping that ball away. So they go inside, then back outside to pick up the strikeout.
Needed something that didn't include contact, and he gets it. The strikeout of Victorino. Now Christian Vasquez. That's for the first time. Took over for Jared Saltalamacchia defensively last inning. Vasquez chops one towards shortstop. Flip to second for the out that ends the inning, and Patton nicely gets out of the jam. Red Sox leave them loaded in the inning. 7th inning stretch, 3-2 Baltimore. Red Sox Spring Training Baseball on NESN is presented to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Well, the Oriole Bird here at Ed Smith Stadium in Sarasota, having a good time. The Orioles have a 3-2 lead as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Red Sox with many changes as we head along here to the bottom of the 7th. Well, today's Inside Word on NESN comes to you courtesy of Bob's Discount Furniture. Let's go down to Field Lever where Jamie's standing by with Jared Saltalamacchia. Jamie?
Jared, you are having to catch for a lot of different pitchers throughout these games. You had a knuckleballer on Monday, a handful today. How long does it take for you to get ready and get prepared and get used to a new pitcher?
It takes time. I mean, there's times, you get into the season and you start to really see what these guys can do. Early in spring training, these guys are just trying to mix pitches and really just get a feel for it. So during the season is when you really kind of see what they like to do and, what they're capable of doing. Right now, you just want to see what what their limitations are, basically.
A little non-baseball related. You were named a spokesplayer for the Jimmy Fund's 8th annual Rally for the Cause. What does that mean to you to be so involved and be a face for the Jimmy Fund?
It means a lot because we're not just baseball players. We've got families. We have hard times as well. So to be able to come out and make little kids smile or just make anybody smile when they're going through something like that, just really humbles you and really makes you feel good. And that's kind of what we're here for. We're here to make people feel good.
Well, they appreciate your time, and so do we. Thanks, Jared.
Well, Jared Saltalamacchia, who's done so much in the Boston community already and will continue to do so this season as Trayvon Robinson leads it off here for the Orioles. Takes over for Nolan Reimold, who was in this spot previously. And Robinson fouls it off to the right, is down 0-2. They'll bounce in as Drake Britton, the new Red Sox pitcher, takes a look at the landing area. The number of Red Sox pitchers used in this game is 7. And a bunch of different landing spots. Both teams A lot of pitching, 5 so far for the O's. One, 2 to Robinson. And a late swing and a foul. Our second look at Drake Britton on the spring. Last year between A-ball and Double-A. Total 26 games, 24 of them were starts, and he finished up at 7-12 with a 4.44 earned run average. Opponent sitting at 259 against Drake Britton.
First appearance of the spring was against Tampa Bay. A couple of innings in that game. Gave up 1 earned run.
Have you made 20,000 Twitter followers yet?
No, I haven't. Last check. Before the game, I checked, and I was at 19.4.
No, you're close.
So you got a lot of people. Maybe you could throw some my way. I'm at 19,479 to be exact.
Oh, you're getting there.
So,
you're getting very close. I mean,
yes, but I need help.
You picked up a lot in a very short period of time.
We started at 12,000 last week, and we've had a 7,000 plus jump week.
Now, you tweeted on the way up here today.
Yes, I had a picture of you driving.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was it when I had my seatbelt on? Yes, I believe it was.
Yes, I think so. Very safe at all times. Swinging a foul tip for strike 3. Standing by is Dustin Pedroia.
All right, Dustin, you ready? All right, we're good to go here. So there's a lot of new faces in this Red Sox clubhouse. As a veteran of this team, what are your expectations for 2013?
Plan to play well. I mean, our goals don't change, and we hope we get out of spring training healthy and ready to go. We got a lot of great group of guys, so it's going to be fun.
Talking about healthy, Will Middlebrooks out of the game with a sore right wrist. The diagnosis still unknown at this point. What kind of effect will have on this lineup?
Oh, he's a power bat. He's showed when he was up last year. He could hit the 3-run home run in a hurry, and that definitely gives our team a boost. So, we hope it's nothing serious, and he's fine.
Thank you, Dustin.
Jenny, is Dustin Pedroia healthy and into spring training here for the Red Sox, and health is a big thing getting through the spring. And tonight, if you missed it earlier, Middlebrooks apparently re-injuring that wrist. We'll find out more in the coming days. This is line into left center. Wide turn at first, and holding on with a single here is Wheeler. Second baseman for the Orioles with a 1-out single.
Well, the story of the night in this ball game is the injury to Will Middlebrooks. We still don't know how bad it is. We know it's the same wrist that he hurt a year ago, taking a swing at an inside fastball and right away leaving the ball game, and none too pleased about it. So hopefully it's nothing serious, but from the way he reacted, it looks like it may be something serious.
One out, one on. Chris Dickerson, the battery. Pinch ran in the 6th inning for Nick Markakis. Now bats for the first time against Drake Britton. And a late swing for strike 1. In the dirt, Vasquez does a nice job of gathering it again, and it evens at 1-1.
A couple of nice blocks by Vasquez since being in the ball game. This one a little bit more difficult. The slider that's down in the dirt, and again, good fundamentals there. Not trying to catch the ball, just trying to block it, sliding to his left.
But a close eye on Wheeler at first base. Held on by Mike Harp. Dickerson last year, remember the New York Yankees, as they check on first base again, and Wheeler back to the bag. Dickerson in 25 games last year with the New York Yankees, spent the bulk of the year in Scranton Wilkes-Barre. Popped up, shallow left. Siriaco, the shortstop, and Dent collide, and the ball falls. And everybody's safe for the Orioles. So Ryan Dent, the third baseman, Pedro Siriaco, they make contact in short left, and the ball falls on the lawn and left.
This is certainly Siriaco's ball. Now, I don't know if he yelled out that he has it. Certainly Dent was going back. He thought he could make a play. Then right at the last minute, Siriaco knocks him out of the way, but can't catch the baseball. But that is the shortstop's call right there. Now, he put his glove up. What we couldn't tell from up here is whether he was calling for it. If he was calling for it, then Dent's got to get out of Dodge. Siriaco calling off the left fielder. He's got control of it, but he runs into his third baseman and then lost control of it.
They rule it a base hit. 1 out, 2 on for the O's, and a pitch in for strike one. Jason Pridy, the batter. 49 games last year in the minors, sitting at .298. Swing and a miss, and a couple of good pitches back-to-back here for Drake Britton, who's ahead 0-2.
Yeah, bad off-balance swing that time by Pridy, and didn't like that breaking ball at all from Britton.
Pridy fights it off foul off to the left, and it hangs at 0-2. The Orioles took the lead on a 2-run home run by Chris Davis in the 6th inning. Then has Baltimore on top 3-2 right now, trying to add on to it here in their half of the 7th inning. Taylor Teagarden waiting on deck for the O's. 1 out, 2 on, and an 0-2 pitch again. That one almost hit him. Did get him. Man down to first. That'll load the bases. So a hit batter here in Pridy, and the base is filled with Orioles. More on Will Middlebrooks. Here's Jenny Dell.
Don, I guess Will Middlebrooks just spoke in the clubhouse. He said that nothing's broken, nothing's torn. It's just a scare. He said it's not as serious as we thought it was. So good news from Middlebrooks.
That is good news. He did not look good as he was heading off.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know. Maybe they took him for x-rays right here in Sarasota to say that nothing is broken, nothing is strained, nothing is... I don't know if he's diagnosing that himself or a doctor has made that diagnosis. Is that the right word, diagnosis?
Yes, diagnosis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so.
Yeah. You used it correctly in a sentence.
Yes, just unusual.
Bases loaded. 1 out here. A chance for Taylor Teagarden to add to this 1-run lead. Told that no x-rays were taken yet. This is by the third baseman, Ryan Dent. Wheeler will score. Dickerson will score. The Orioles take a 5-2 lead. A couple of insurance runs for Baltimore here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Well, the Orioles coming alive offensively here in the 7th inning. No shot for Dent at third base as that ball goes right underneath his glove. And 2 more runs come across. 3 hits in the inning, including a hit batter.
Well, Mike Wright, the batter here. Nick Delmonico actually batting here for the Orioles. And Delmonico takes pitch outside, ball one.
Plus the guys that are in the game now for the Red Sox, and actually for the Orioles too, trying to make an impression on their managers. Certainly guys who will not be in the big leagues to start the season, but at some point there are things that can be done in spring training that help managers remember what they saw in spring training, and sometimes those guys get the advantage for the call during the year. We've seen that happen in the past. That pop-up thing kind of drives managers and coaches crazy because they've already worked on stuff like that. Pop-up priorities and who has priority over who. And surely in that case, the shortstop has a priority over the third baseman. And when you see things like that happen, it's back to the drawing board.
In the dirt. Again, Vasquez knocking it down, 2-1. As you mentioned, so important for a lot of players to make some sort of impression on their manager because, quite frankly, he's got his hands full during the regular season. Is not, while there are reports and he is in sync with the AAA club, it's hard to really watch everybody else and what they're doing across the organization. You're worried about what you got here in front of you, the 25 guys, and this is your chance for the better part of 6 weeks to make some sort of impression.
And there always seems to be somebody, too, Don, that kind of sticks out. They have a great spring. And Siriaco, for example,
last year,
a year ago.
Yeah.
And he was a guy the Red Sox were not afraid to call on during the season.
In fact, Bobby Valentine wanted him, I think, right out of the gate
yes,
to begin last year, and he was not on the roster to start the year. That is tap foul down the first base line. Full count now. Britton trying to work his way through this inning. He's given up 2 additional runs here to the Orioles. And there's Baltimore on top 5-2 as they bat here in the bottom of the 7th. High for ball 4, and this will load the bases. Delmonico down to first base. First walk given up by Britton. Second straight outing, he's given up a couple of runs, and here comes Juan Nieves. So bases loaded, 1 out in the inning, and here is Romero, single to right field, his first time up. Romero now the shortstop for the Orioles, and last year in the minor leagues, 135 games, had a 300 average. Took over for J.J. Hardy. And it's a ground ball to short, could be 2. Siriaco to second for 1, on to first, it is 2. And Britton gets out of the inning without any further damage, but the Orioles get 2 runs in the inning. And Baltimore has a 5-2 lead as we head to inning number 8 from Sarasota. 5-2, the Orioles have upped their lead with 2 more runs in the bottom of the 7th inning. As we head to the 8th now, back in Sarasota, Florida, the spring home of the Orioles. Orioles now hitting the Red Sox 10-6. Troy Patton as Patton back into the game here. He gets 7th back out there for the 8th. Left-hander for the Orioles. Baltimore's used 5 pitchers in the game so far. 7 Sports, 450 acres. IMG Academy in Bradenton, Florida is giving you the opportunity to train like a pro. Go to NESN.com/IMG for your chance to win a free week of youth sports camp. Well, Pedro Ciriaco to lead it off here in the 8th inning. Ciriaco is 1 for 3 with an RBI single that he got back in the 3rd inning. There's a strike over the inside corner, 1-1. Orioles had Chris Tillman start the game. So Daniel Sheriff, Britton, McCutchen, and now Patton, all for the O's tonight. Ciriaco fouls it off to the right, 1-2. Pitch inside, 2-2. Center fielder Xavier Avery a step or 2 towards right center. Somewhat of a gap in left center. And another foul for Ciriaco hanging in there with a good at bat. Still 2-2. On deck is Ryan Dent. Took over at third base for the Red Sox, but getting his first plate appearance of the game coming up. This one fouled off to the right and out of play. Fouled straight back, still 2-2. Red Sox had the lead in the game. Johnny Gomes with a solo home run in the 4th inning put Boston on top 3-2 at the time, but the Orioles with a pair of runs in the 6th inning and 2 in the 7th. Baltimore with 5 runs, 10 hits, no errors. Red Sox 2 runs, 6 hits, and 2 miscues. This one fouled off again, and Ciriaco continues to waste Troy Patton pitches. Straightens this out to right center field. Avery on the run, and Avery can't catch it. The one hop off the wall. Ciriaco headed towards third base, and he will get there. Avery with a pretty good bid out there in center field, but can't come up with it out in deep right center, and Ciriaco ends up at third.
Avery got a great jump on that, and it looked like he was going to make a tremendous catch on Ciriaco. Ciriaco showing great opposite field power there, but almost tracked down by Avery in center field. As a matter of fact, I think the ball got a piece of the glove. And he does get some glove on it. And the ball gets by him. And, of course, Ciriaco into third base with the triple. That ball hit a long way. Tracked a long way by Avery, but it ends up 3 bases.
Well, Derek Gibson pinch running at third base. Ryan Dent is the batter here for the Red Sox. Came in at third base. There's Derek Gibson now pinch running at third for Siriaco. On the ground is short. Romero with a throw that is there in time as the run scores, and the Red Sox get a little closer. It's now 5-3 as Dent on the ground out picks up an RBI.
Well, the Orioles with the lead have the advantage of playing that infield back. By playing back, they're able to get the out. The Red Sox get a run. So now a 2-run ball game here in the 8th inning.
There's Justin Henry to bat for the first time. He took over in left field for Johnny Gomes. And Henry takes strike one. Justin Henry, last year playing in Toledo, hit at 300, 131 games. Back-to-back years at AAA. Toledo in the Tigers organization. Originally a 9th-round pick of the Tigers. A little check swing dribbler down the third baseline and well placed. Pat just picks it up and Henry will reach with one out in the inning.
Well, if you missed Don and I during the offseason, and let's face it, how could you have not? You can relive some of the favorite moments from last summer with the best of Don and Jerry. Don't miss it Sunday at 1 p.m. before our Sox-Yankees spring training game right here on Nesson.
There were some pretty good moments last year.
We actually boxed it up tonight when we were doing the intros for it.
Yes. Swing and a miss.
Swing at an early start on some bloopers for next year.
Yes. We had quite a few last year, though. We had a good time. We had fun. Mike Karp with a check swing foul off the catcher. Taylor Teagard. As Karp getting his second at bat. He singled to center in the 7th inning. And bats here is represents the tying run at the plate. Been asked many times if I take my travel bag in spring training, and I do not. So if we get in some sort of emergency situation here, I'm not ready.
We're in trouble.
Yeah. I don't have any of my stuff. I don't have backup stuff for backup stuff. I got nothing.
You're in big trouble, and I'm in trouble, too, because I actually had to dig into that bag a few times last year.
I had Band-Aids for you on occasion. That is strike 3. 2 down in the 8th as Karp strikes out.
That's a good question. Why don't you bring it in spring training?
It's too big. It's too big for the spring.
So you don't worry about things happening?
Oh, I always worry about things, but I, for some reason, don't worry as much as I do during the regular season. Can't explain it.
Now, you didn't have, did you bring all that stuff on the 4-day trip that we made through New England?
I did not. No, I just brought the bag that I have tonight, which just has my iPad in it.
Wow. Yeah, I can't believe that
I was worried about it.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't tell me.
If something happens in the hotel on that trip, I was not ready.
Yeah, that's not good. And we stayed in 4 different hotels.
This was out of the emergency pack when I showed you the beef jerky that I'm not going to be sharing with you in case we're
stranded on an island somewhere.
Yep. I will have beef jerky and you'll have nothing.
That's right. And I'll be driving somewhere and we'll be lost and you'll be eating your beef jerky. You know.
And I will feel great.
I love that shot. It's a great shot. It shows our ball spots in the back of our heads.
They could have gone with another shot.
Yeah, I mean, really.
Really? I mean, they got like 17 cameras at Progressive Field, and they chose that one.
Yeah, they show our
That's Narachi. That's all Narachi. Pitch is low, and it's 3-0 to Moro Gomez, who bats here with 2 outs. A couple of bald men who broadcast baseball. Here they are.
A lot of rugs down here in Florida.
Oh,
tons of rugs.
A lot of rugs.
A lot of rugs.
And we need to get some. Ball 4 and down to first base goes Gomes with 2 outs. And of course, coming up right after the game, Ness and Daly as Buck Showalter heads to the mound here with 2 outs in the inning. Troy Patton turns into a lengthy outing for him as he'll be departing. New pitcher coming in here for the Orioles. We'll be back with you on Friday night for our next spring training telecast. It'll be against the Pittsburgh Pirates. 7 to 5 start time. And then March 3rd against the Yankees. March 8th against Minnesota at 7:05. On the 9th against Baltimore. And then we will travel to Port Charlotte.
Wow.
For the Tampa Bay Rays.
That's 3 in a row for us, Don. 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Yes. 3-3.
You better bring your bag. Your big bag.
8th, 9th, and 10th. I didn't realize we were doing 3-3.
I didn't realize that either.
No. But this is spring training for announcers, too. And it's time for us to get going.
Spring training is actually tougher for announcers than the regular season because you have so many changes.
Yes, you have so many changes, especially the 8th and 9th innings.
Yes.
Of games. Another pitcher for the Orioles is Chris Petrini, who comes into the game and becomes the 6th pitcher. Takes over for Troy Patton with 2 down in the inning. And the Red Sox with runners at first and second. Mitch Meyer will be the batter as he waits on deck. Meyer, who is now in center field for the Red Sox, batting in the number 1 spot where Jacoby Ellsbury had been. Meyer singled to center field in the 7th inning after Ellsbury had been 0 for 3 in the game tonight. So here is Meyer. Last year, 32 games with the Royals. More of a regular in years past with Kansas City. They're 30 years of age. Played in 127 games for the Royals in 2009. 117 games for Kansas City in 2010. But last 2 years, not as much. 45 and 11. 32 games last year. Ground ball to shortstop. Romero. Off balance throw that's going to be late. And the bases are loaded. Infield hit for Mitch Meyer. Got down the line very quickly.
Yeah, had the advantage of being a left-handed hitter, getting out of that box on a little squib toward shortstop. Romero had a long way to go. And by the time he makes that play to first base, Meyer beats it out. You can see he was playing him the pull, had to go to his right, had to come in, and could not get a lot on the throw from that position.
So bases loaded now with 2 down. And Jonathan Diaz, the batter. Diaz will foul this off the home plate umpire, Tim Welke, and back to the screen.
And Diaz was going for 4 there, wasn't he?
Big cut. Diaz last year spending time at AA and AAA in the Blue Jays organization. Signed with the Red Sox as a minor league free agent this past offseason in December. Originally a 12th round pick by the Blue Jays, not reached the majors, and highest level he's played at is AAA inside the Jays organization. That is a strike, and it's 1-2.
Come on, Johnny.
2-2 to Diaz. North Carolina State University, where he played baseball and majored in computer engineering. Not close. Ball 3, full count. And everybody be moving here with 2 outs and the count 3-2. Fly ball to right field. Dickerson's over towards the line, under it, and he makes the catch. Petrina gets out of a major jam. Red Sox do get a run, but they leave the bases loaded. It's 5-3 Baltimore on to the bottom of the 8th. Last half of the 8th inning back in Sarasota, home of the Orioles during the spring, and the Orioles have a 5-3 lead over the Red Sox as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Drake Britton still on the mound. Britton giving up a couple of runs in the 7th inning. Charged with 2 runs in the inning, but get Romero to hit into a 6-4-3 double play to end the inning, with the Orioles up in their lead at the time at 5-2. Red Sox have gotten a run back, so it's 5-3 as we head to the last of the 8th. Well, Derek Gibson, who pinch ran for Siriaco at third base last inning, has taken over for Siriaco defensively at shortstop. There is Derek Gibson now at short for Boston.
Now, a lot of the crowd that was not really a full house here tonight in Sarasota has taken off with a late hour, past 10 o'clock now. Mostly Red Sox fans here tonight.
Bleachers have cleared out for the most part out there and left. Xavier Avery leading it off. And ahead in the count, 2-0. Reno. And there's ball 4. So a 4-pitch walk to begin the inning to Avery. This right-handed action in the Red Sox pen. Drake Britton out there for his second inning of relief as he begins this, the bottom of the 8th. Brock Hunsinger warming in the pen for the Red Sox, right-hander. Here's Buck Britton, who takes a pitch for a strike. Go to first and back to the bag safely is Avery.
Avery had himself a pretty good lead over there at first base, and it looked like he was leaning toward trying to go. Then that quick step-off move to first base by Britton.
This one fouled down the left field line, out of play. One-two pitch. On the ground up the middle and into center field, a base hit. Well, the Orioles have 2 on with nobody out here in the 8th. So a walk and a single allowed by Zach Britton.
11 hits on the night now for the Orioles against Red Sox pitching. Very quiet early in the game with the Orioles, but very busy here late in the game as far as picking up base hits and also runs.
2 on, nobody out. Trayvon Robinson, the batter. Farrell stays with Britton here. Well, Jerry, we did confirm that Buck Britton is the brother of Zach Britton, and they just went head-to-head, and Buck Britton with a base hit.
Bragging rights tonight.
Yes. Buck is a year and a half older. (1-0) is outside. 2-0. Walk and a single allowed here by Drake Britton in the 8th. Strike call, 2-1. Robinson didn't think so. Look back at Tim Welke. Popped up into short right, and it's caught in short right field. No advance for the base runners. One down here in the 8th.
Good job by Hazelbaker out there in right field, calling off his second baseman. Diaz has to go as hard as he possibly can until he hears the outfielder call him off. Right now, both guys look like they have a beat on it, but you can see clearly the outfield taking charge. Hazelbaker and making the call and making the catch.
New pitcher coming in for the Red Sox.
Well, Drake Britton goes an inning and a third as he departs. Well, have you gotten your daily fix today? Well, Nesson has you covered following the game with Nesson Daily. Adam Pellerin, Leah Hextall will get you caught up on everything you need to know about your favorite New England sports, including a complete recap of tonight's Sox-Orioles action. Jamison Coyle reports from Bruins practice, and Tom Brady talks about his new contract extension. All that and more on Nesson Daily tonight.
Yeah, but guess who's first out of the chute on the show?
We are.
Yeah, that's right, Don and Jerry. Talk about Brady later.
We'll talk about Don and Jerry first. Brock Hunsinger is into the game for the Red Sox, their 8th pitcher of the night last year. 40 appearances overall, 4-5 with a 4.01 earned run average. 59 strikeouts, 25 walks for Hunsinger. Hunsinger, a 4th pick, 3rd round. 114th overall in June of 2007. Saw time in Portland and Pawtucket last year. 38 appearances with Portland, 2 with the Pawtucket Red Sox. Only worked 3 innings of AAA ball last year. Into the game here in the 8th with 1 out and 2 on. 2 men on, responsibility of Drake Britton, who talks it over with Juan Nieves.
Monty Evans coming over from the Chicago White Sox organization. Those signs that you see being thrown out by the catcher, if there's a double steal, what base he'll throw to, 3rd base or 2nd base, letting his infielders know.
Ball 1. Zealous Wheeler, the batter here, with 1 out in the 8th. Avery at 2nd base, Britton at 1st base. Orioles trying to add on to a 2-run advantage. On top 5-3 as they bat here in the last of the 8th inning. Ball 2, 2-0. Seeing Franklin Morales, Joel Hanrahan, Koji Uehara, Andrew Bailey, Andrew Miller, Chinichi Tozawa, Drake Britton, and Brock Hunsinger now in the game. Swing and a miss, 2-1. 8 pitchers in the game tonight for Boston.
Put all your phones down, because now everybody just sees you on me.
Runners go. Throw goes to 2nd and out at 2nd base. Britton is gunned down by Vasquez. Throw was to the 1st base side, but good tag there by Diaz.
That's what we're talking about, the signs from Vasquez, letting those middle infielders know, am I going to go to 3rd or 2nd? The Red Sox elect to go to 2nd base on this, and it becomes a good call. Nice tag at 2nd base by Diaz. Just got the back leg, it looked like, before the hand got to the bag. So the Red Sox guessed right that time, go for the trail runner, and pick up the man stealing 2nd or attempting to steal 2nd.
And Vasquez on the throw. Avery now at third base with 2 down here in the 8th. And ball 4 down to first base. Hunsinger walks him. So Wheeler aboard now. First and third with 2 down.
Now batting the right fielder, number 60, Chris Dickerson.
More signs being thrown out now, whether they're going to throw through if the man at first base goes. And down by a couple of runs, I'd be very surprised if they did throw through in this situation.
Here's Chris Dickerson. Dickerson with a single his last time up, scored a run for the Orioles. That was in the 7th inning. As he takes strike 1. Snap throw to third, and they have got him. So Avery has picked off third base. Vasquez, couple good throws in the inning. Orioles have a 5-3 lead. Avery picked off at third. Five to 3, the Orioles have the lead over the Red Sox. We head to the 9th inning. Last chance for the Red Sox as they come to bat against the new pitcher for the Orioles. We talked about the Orioles bullpen last year, how good it was. The 8th inning, Pedro Strop, big part of that, former Texas Ranger. Yeah, big year last year with the O's. 70 appearances, 5-2, 2.44 earned run average, 66 in the 3rd innings, 37 walks, 52 hits, and had 58 strikeouts on the year. Top half of the 9th inning. Jeremy Hazelbaker bats here for the Red Sox. Hazelbaker will be entering his 5th pro season. First Major League spring training for Hazelbaker. He is 25 years old, turned 26 in August. Originally a 4th round pick in 2009. Entire career spent inside the Red Sox organization. Last year spending time between AA Portland and AAA Pawtucket. In there for a strike, 2-1. This one fouled off to the left out of play. 2-2. Vasquez waiting on deck. He had a big inning last inning defensively.
He's a one-man show getting the Red Sox out of that inning, throwing a man out at second base and picking one off third base.
Check swing, grounder, foul.
Keeps the Red Sox within striking distance of this game with those two great throws.
Broken back grounder back up the middle into center field on a base hit. So Hazelbaker with a single to get things started here in the ninth against Pedro Strop. And that'll bring up Vasquez. Vasquez reached on a fielder's choice in the seventh inning. And takes pitch for a strike. Christian Vasquez, 22 years old, turned 23 in August, who's from Puerto Rico. He's part of the Red Sox rookie program this last offseason. Signed by the Red Sox as a 9th round selection in the June draft. 0-1. And a swing and a miss, 0-2. Actually, he strikes out. Scoreboard had it at 0-1. He is down by way of the K, first out of the ninth.
Yeah, pretty nasty slider right there by Strop to pick up this strikeout. It's ahead in the count, goes with the breaking ball down and away off the plate, and gets Vasquez to chase it.
1 out, 1 on. Derek Gibson, the batter. There's strike one to Gibson. With Double-A Portland in walks with 44. Spending time last year in the Red Sox organization as he'll take a ball. $115 games at Double-A Portland last year. Hit at .225 for the season. In tight for Strop, and it's 2-1. Here's the strike, 2-2. Swing and a miss. Strikes him out. 2 down. Back-to-back Ks for Strop.
Now, this is what American League hitters had to look at last season from the Baltimore Orioles. Late inning, very, very good pitching. Once again, back to the breaking ball. The slider again for the strikeout.
Ryan Dent, the batter, getting his second at bat. He grounded out to shortstop in the 8th inning. Took over at third base for the Red Sox. 1-0 to Dent. Runner goes at first. Dent will take the strike, and defensive indifference as Hazelbaker takes second base.
A 2-run lead playing behind Hazelbaker. He just takes second base.
Home run brings it 2.
1-2, and the Red Sox down to their last strike. In there for strike 3. Pedro Strop strikes out the side. And the Orioles beat the Red Sox tonight 5-3. Red Sox losing tonight in Sarasota. It is time for Ness and Daly coming your way.